you so much. So good evening once again. My name is Priscilla and I'll be your host for today. I hope we're all doing okay, right? It's the weekend and this is such a good way to end today. So welcome to a tech series by Analytics, right? We'll be having a career Q&A session today where you get to ask a lot of questions, right? But before we delve into that, I'd like into the session, right? So if this is analytics session, please leave a 1 in the chat. Let's properly welcome you into our sessions. So if this is your first time of joining a Analytics Masterclass, please leave a 1 in the chat. All right, so I can see Tamuno Tonye, you're very welcome. Who else is just joining us for the first time? I can see James, I can see Ebenezer, I can see a lot of people. This is so amazing. So welcome everybody. It's a pleasure to have you here, all right? You're very welcome to Analytics Masterclass, all right? So like I mentioned, this session is brought to you by Analytics, and we'll be talking today about career Q&A, right? What are the questions you have, right? If you want to get started into tech, what focusing on the skills that tech recruiters actually demand. So let's say you want to get into tech. What skill do you need to acquire? How do you even acquire those skills? Where do you get started from? So these are burning questions that a lot of people have. And I'm sure that that is why most of us are here today. So just relax, right? If you have any question, feel very free to leave it in the chat as we walk you through the session. So before we invite our facilitator for today, I'd like to do a brief introduction of who we are at Analytics and what we do. So I'll share my screen now. And if you can see my screen, please leave a 1 in the chat if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, I'm sure. All right, thank you, Adaza. We'll be having a Q&A session, right? And about Analytics, who are these people? What do they do really, right? So we're actually an edtech firm, and we help Africans and people of the Black community transition into tech by lowering the entry barrier into tech, right? So if you ever have heard of edtech firms, they actually bring education closer to your doorstep. You don't have to go to a physical location. You don't have to go to school. You just have to stay within the confines of your environment or wherever you've chosen to learn. Right now, we're a foremost edtech company, and we're focused on helping Africans and people of the Black community learn premium tech skills by lowering the entry barrier into tech. Our service offerings are aimed at building capacity across different tech fields, okay? So we're into data analytics, data engineering, business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, cybersecurity, AI engineering, and more, and the entire data ecosystem, right? So we actually ventured into this career path to enable our participants and clients achieve data-driven decisions. So there's no organization that you would, venture into with all of these skills that you wouldn't be able to help them achieve data-driven decision-making. Okay, so our facilitators are top professionals from diverse sectors and reputable organizations like Apple, Coca-Cola, etc. Okay, so our courses are also structured in a way that makes it practical and ensures that you get optimal value. All right, so today's session will be anchored by the founder of Analytics, right? So if you're just joining us for the first time, if you've never met the founder of Analytics, Adeza Suleiman is the founder of Analytics, and he'll be taking us through today's session, okay? So he's a data analytics expert, and he has close to a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. He has worked in sports, professional services, edtech, energy, and automobile sectors, right? He has also trained personally, he has trained over 8,500 participants. So who else would you rather ask those burning questions that you have, right? So you're definitely in safe hands this evening, okay? So, and we'll be getting started right away. Hi, Adeza, good evening.
Hello, Priscilla. Thanks for that beautiful introduction.
Yeah, good to have you here.
Yeah, fantastic. Good to be here. And we look forward to an amazing session today. Today is a Q&A session, all right? And before I start taking your questions, one of the first things I'll do is I'll walk you through some rudiments in getting into tech. What are the key areas, the key aspects you need to take note of? Okay, and then we'll do that for the next maybe 1 hour, and then we'll move into the Q&A. I'm sure a lot of you have questions, and most of the time, these are questions that are very, very common. Okay, for example, I want to get into data analytics. How do I start? I want to get a job, or I've been applying to get a job. What do you think is holding me back? Or I have experience in customer service. I want to transition into tech. What do you think I should do? What are the career paths that are high in demand in the UK, for example, or in Canada, or in the US? And these are questions that you would have, and I'll be answering those questions today. But before we dive into, taking in your questions, I'll do, like I said, a brief introduction about myself, and then we go into some rudiments. Priscilla has done a fantastic job introducing me. And just like Priscilla said, for us, the focus is not just on training. The focus is on helping people, most especially Africans in Africa and Africans in diaspora, to transition into the tech ecosystem. And I've been in the tech ecosystem for close to about a decade now. And I've worked as a data analyst, as a management information analyst. I've worked across the UK, the US, working as a data science consultant. And I've also worked in energy, where I worked as a management information systems analyst. Founded Tenalytics to help more people to transition into the tech ecosystem. And over the last 4 years, we've been able to help over 2,000 people make the transition from the classroom to getting their first jobs in tech. All right. I currently reside in Canada, in Alberta, to be specific, and I've trained well over 8,500 people, just like Priscilla said. Okay, so I'd love our session to be as interactive as possible. Good evening, Paul. Hi, hello, everybody. Okay, so let's see what our session today would look like. First of all, we'll try to see the career path for you to choose going into 2024 and beyond. The tech ecosystem is ever evolving, and the dynamics and the direction of where the jobs would be in the next 5 to 10 years is something that everybody must also be aware of, okay? And I always try to show this to people, especially those that are in specific career path and you want to transition, but unfortunately, you are transitioning into the wrong career path because you have career paths that will decline in demand, okay? And one major one is accounting. If you're an accountant today, in the next 5 years, your job will decline, okay? And this is not my own opinion. This is reports by the World Economic Forum showing jobs that will grow and jobs that will decline. And I will show you this today. We'll move out of that to helping you understand the careers that are high in demand and how to choose the best path for yourself. And I would also introduce you to our upcoming cohorts, the programs we have starting on the 6th of April. And we'll look at some success stories, people that have done it and have gone through Tenalytics. And I would also introduce you to the IWD Scholarship. The IWD Scholarship is an initiative by Tenalytics to help more women to get into the tech ecosystem. So we're not going to waste time. We're going to dive into our session for today, right into going into business, okay? I know a lot of questions would come in. Okay, somebody's saying they can't hear me. I believe my audio is good, very good enough. But just confirm, Priscilla, that you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, fantastic. How can I get mentorship? Exactly. So that's a question somebody's asking. I'll talk about all this. And this is the reason why I'll give you this very first brief introduction, okay? And then we dive into specifics because I'm sure the questions you have, I would have answered a couple of them before we get into those questions, okay? So how do you choose the best career path? And this is a very, very important question because you can't just dive into a specific area because other people are talking about it, or there is a buzz. Your friends are talking about, this career path, and you have to jump into that as well. And a lot of people make mistakes. And one of the questions I ask people when they come to me and say, oh, I always thought this was like this, because this is what people are saying. And my question is, are those people experts? How long have they been in the industry? Do they understand the dynamics of the market and so on and so forth? Okay, so how to choose the best career path is very important. And I'll show you how in the next few minutes. And when it comes to tech, you really have to pay very close attention to the specific area you want to dive into, because tech is very broad. You have so many career paths in the tech ecosystem. So how do you select the one that is best for you? And one of the first things I always tell people to do is you must know the career path that are in high demand. Okay? You don't want to get into a career path that will decline over the next few years. You want to stay relevant, and you want to ensure that you would always be needed for specific roles. And that's why you must know the career path that are in high demand. And once you've done that, you've selected. So rather than looking at the entire ecosystem, you've been able to narrow down your focus, laser focus on specific areas. You now have to understand those areas, and you can make a decision to get into the space. And the very first thing you want to do is look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports. I've kept the link for you, but this is something, if you go on Google and you just type in World Economic Forum or WEF Future of Jobs reports, and you'd see the latest for 2023. Projecting into the future, the jobs that will grow and the jobs that will decline. So what I'll do is to highlight a couple of areas for you to show you the jobs that will grow in demand and how we at Tenalytics leveraged this report in addition to the analysis we have done over the years to see where the demand of jobs would be. We scrape data from the website, from the major job boards, Indeed, Glassdoor, Total Jobs, Read.co.uk, Monster, and so on and so forth. We scrape data from those websites, and we saw the jobs that are in high demand in terms of the jobs organizations have demanded for over the last 5 years. And we use this report called the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports to validate the analysis. And this clearly shows where the jobs would be. At the left-hand side, you have the jobs that will grow. And at the right-hand side, you have the jobs that will decline. And I'll, highlight a couple to you. A lot of people are transitioning into a career path that is very popular called product management, okay? So you'd see product managers, but guess what? According to the projections, a product manager role would decline in demand. So you're moving into that career path, you have to think twice. And why do we take the World Economic Forum reports seriously? The reason is simple. The World Economic Forum comprises of the politicians across the major economies, comprises of billionaires, the captains of industries, MD, CEOs, and influencers. They come together and then they decide and chart the future of where the world would go in the next few years. So you have to listen to people like that. These are people that own organizations. They are the drivers of the economy, and they decide where the economy would shift and the major career that would follow suit in those areas. Okay, so where are the jobs? Where will the jobs be in the future? Number one is in AI and machine learning. And this is a no-brainer. If you look at the trend today, you'd see so many new technologies, large language models like ChatGPT, Gemini, Llama, and so on and so forth. All right. So you're in AI, you're in machine learning, you're in a career path. You're a machine learning engineer, you're a machine learning specialist. You know that you're in a career path that will grow in demand. You have the business intelligence analyst. The business intelligence analyst is a derivative of data analytics. Okay, as a BI analyst, it's a derivative of data analytics. And I'll explain as we move into our session, okay? You also have information security. Information security analyst also comprises of who? Your cyber security analyst. Okay, so information security is an umbrella term for career path that also includes cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is a part of information security. So you are moving into cybersecurity today, you are moving into a career path where you would remain relevant over the next 5 to 10 years and beyond, because organizations would need your services. Of course, you can't talk about where the jobs would be in the future without talking about data analysts and data scientists. I always tell people this: we've generated 90% of the data that we've generated over the duration of humankind. Since we knew the world to be what it is, we've generated 90% of the data that exists today in the last 5 to 6 years. So 90% of the data that exists was generated 5 to 6 years ago. And this shows you clearly that organizations are struggling to find people that would help them manage this data, store the data, analyze the data, make the data good and in the right shape for analysis, and to help them take decisions. And this is why you would see any role in data today is a role that would always remain relevant. All right. So as a data analyst, as a data scientist, your role is in high demand. You move into data engineering. Data engineers are the people that make the data available. So when data is generated on Zoom, we generate data, the messages you are typing, the voice you are hearing, the videos we are recording, these are data, okay? Your Instagram, your different applications, your POS systems, your web applications, you have data generated. But how do you make that data available to people that need the data? And that's where the data engineers come in, all right? You have the data architects, the database architects, and of course, you also have the project managers, but not the general project managers. So when you look at project management, it largely comprises of two major areas based on the methodologies you are looking at. And when you look at the tech ecosystem, the focus is on Scrum, because Scrum Masters are the professionals. Scrum Masters are the professionals that focuses on projects within the tech ecosystem because they leverage the Agile framework. I'm going to talk about these roles as we move on, okay? But I want you to take a note and make a note of these career paths that are in high demand that would grow over the next few years. And these are the areas you want to get into. And of course, you have financial analysts. These are the people that help you project financially into the future, help you take investment decisions, help you analyze your financial records to tell if the company is doing well or not, and the changes that needs to be made. Every business needs a financial analyst. So these are roles that will grow. And I talked about accountants the other time. Now, if you look at accountants and auditors, these are roles that will decline in the next few years. They are part of the declining jobs. You have accountants, you have software testers. These would also decline. And the reason why software testers would decline is because of the emergence of what? AI and so on and so forth. Okay, you have credit and loan officers, and these are some of the roles that will decline. So as an accountant today, how do you position yourself? That's the very important question. So you need to add some level of analytics into your current job function. You are good in accounting, brilliant, fantastic. Can I add data analytics so I can apply to jobs as a financial analyst, as a financial planning and analytics professional, as a commercial analyst, and so on and so forth? Okay, now looking at these career paths that will grow in demand, we use this in-house at Analytics to validate our analysis that showed us clearly where the jobs would be, the jobs that will get to your the career path that will get to your first jobs in tech. And these are the areas you want to focus on. Okay, and number one is business analysis. As a business analyst, you are in a career path that is very high in demand, irrespective of your current location. You're in Africa, you're in Canada, you're in the UK, you're in the US, you're in a career path that will keep on growing in demand. You have data analytics, you saw that clearly. in the World Economic Forum reports. Financial analytics, you saw that clearly. You have HR analytics, which is a derivative of data analytics. You have data science. You saw the data science as well as one of the career paths that would grow in demand. The Scrum Master role as a project manager in the tech ecosystem, this is a role that will grow in demand over the next few years. You have data engineering, one of the highly sought after roles in tech today. And of course, last but not the least, you have a cybersecurity analyst. All right. And these are the 8 career paths that if you want to transition into today. So you have a lot of people learning so many very complex, and I would say product management, for example, we saw that clearly. This is going nowhere in terms of where the future of jobs would be tomorrow. You don't want to get trapped into transitioning in those areas. Of course, if you look at the UK today, for example, they're clamping down on so many, immigration pathways. And you have people that are in the care job today, and they're having a very torrid time trying to transition into tech. And if you want to eventually make that transition, the biggest mistake you can make is getting into a career path that would also ensure that you're not relevant in the next few years. You want to make that right decision. And when it comes to the salary is phenomenal. All right, you have salaries that get you on the average fantastic remuneration across the major economies. As a business analyst in Canada, you are doing on the average over 74,000 Canadian dollars, over 52,000 pounds if you're in the UK, and so on and so forth. If you look at the financial analyst, you are doing over 51,000 pounds in the UK per annum. A HR analyst, you are doing over 71,000 pounds, $71,000 Canadian dollars in Canada. 6 figures when you start moving into data science. In the US, 6 figures as a data scientist, 121,000 US dollars on the average. As a Scrum Master, you're also earning the salary of a data analyst, the salary of a business analyst. And Scrum is one of the, I would say, I don't like to use this word a lot, but it's one of the most straightforward career path you can get into in tech. All right. So you look at the remuneration, and you look at how straightforward it is for you to get into this career path, and you see that there's a whole lot of value getting into those areas. Data engineering, 6 figures. You are in Canada, you are in the US on the average, you are earning brilliant, fantastic salaries. Cybersecurity earns, these are professionals that, first of all, your career path is very high in demand. Everybody wants to get that person that can help them protect their systems, their network, their data, and so on and so forth. They want you in their organization, and you also get the opportunity to earn fantastic salaries in these career paths, because it's not just about transitioning, it's also about getting fantastic salaries. Okay. Somebody's saying I'm joining late. No problem at all. Okpeyemi, you joined well, not too late because we haven't gone too far, but at the same time, the session is recorded, okay? And for those that stay till the end, you're going to receive the recording, you receive the slides and the materials, and so on and so forth, okay? Now, people would ask me every single time that these are fantastic career paths. In fact, they are not new to me. I've heard about them, but are people really getting jobs? Okay, are people really getting jobs? And people always like to see others that have gone before them. Okay, I want to see somebody that have done it, that has done the same thing I'm trying to do, and they've been able to achieve success in those areas. And we always like to showcase them. All right. And I'll be highlighting a couple of individuals, the most recent, people that got their jobs recently, how they did it, and how they joined us, and they were able to also make that transition. And one of them I'd like to speak about is Muhyiddin. Now, Muhyiddin got a job as working with BBX in the UK only 2 months after he completed his data analytics program with us. All right. What does Muhyiddin do? Muhyiddin takes the sales data and takes the commercial data of the business to help them identify the customers that they need to pursue to get business into the company. That's Muhyiddin's role. Now, guess what? Muhyiddin lives in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria. He works remotely for this company. He started the job just last month, February 2024. All right. So Muhyiddin completed his program with us, completed his internship in December, and by February, he was able to land this job in the UK. And I'll showcase Muhyiddin's profile to you because there are a lot of things that that goes on at the background that helps Muhyiddin land this job. And that's the focus for us at Tenalytics, because I tell people this, everybody can go on different platforms, can go on YouTube, can go on Udemy, can go on Udacity to learn specific skills. However, the technical skill never gets you the job. The technical skill is 50% of what you need. The other aspects that you need to land the role are your employability skills. And I'll talk a little bit about that as we move into our session, all right? But Muhyiddin joined us in August 2023, joined our data analytics program, completed the program, completed his internship in December, and he got this job working with BBX in the UK as a business development analyst. And he started his job in February, just last month, 2024. Okay, so people always want to see those that have done it. And of course, for anybody in Nigeria today, you would understand what it means financially to work for a company where you are earning in pounds and you are spending in naira. Okay, absolutely phenomenal journey for Muhyiddin. We're going to listen to what Muhyiddin has to say, because I also kept the link for people to go back, listen to these guys when you receive the slides, so you can also learn and get inspired by people like Muhyiddin and the rest. All right. Abigail transitioned from a care worker. She was a carer. She worked in the care industry in Canada. She joined our business analysis program because Abigail never wanted to remain on that role. She wanted to transition. So she was a care worker in Canada. And what did she do? She joined our business analysis program. And by the time she completed her program, 2 months after, she was able to land a role as a business analyst with the government of Alberta, working in the Ministry of Municipal Affairs in Canada. Now, the amazing stuff about Abigail is she currently even supervises 2 people. So she didn't just get the role, and she's never done business analysis before. So this is her first business analysis job, all right? And she's able to supervise 2 other people because she transitioned into this role and moving from a care worker background, all right? We're also going to listen to Abigail, and we get to hear what she has to say, because people ask, oh, is it so difficult? And at the same time, is it so easy? But it's good for you to listen and, get to hear from these amazing professionals yourselves. What I think we'll do, so we don't have too many videos piled up, I'll quickly play the video for Abigail. So we listen to Abigail and we hear what Abigail has to say. How was her journey like, moving from what she used to do before as a care worker to getting a job as a business analyst in Canada? Okay, so I'm going to click on the link so we can listen to Abigail. So sit back, relax. Let's hear what Abigail has to say, and we'll move on to other amazing professionals. So I'm just going to click on the link. It takes us to YouTube, and we listen to Abigail.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an all-in-one product.
Hi guys, my name is Abigail.
Okay, so I'm just going to go back and then I'll play what Abigail has to say. So I want us to listen, and I'm sure you'll learn 1 or 2 things from Abigail's journey. It's a 2 minutes video, so it's not a long video as such. So just listen in and let's hear what Abigail has to say.
Hi guys, my name is Abigail Garga, and I want to talk about my journey with Tenalytics and how it has helped me to ace my interview and eventually land that dream job that we always wanted. So my training with Tenalytics has transformed my career as a business analyst. They have coached me really well, thoroughly, with hands-on projects, and the instructors are usually super awesome. Topics that are covered are usually real-life experience with a hands-on project where you do as a team, where you do as individual. There's always a one-on-one session if you want. Interview preparation, they use real-life experience. They coach you on interview and they tell you what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong, and where you need to improve and where you are perfect, and all of that. I'm recommending Tenalytics to all my friends, to anyone watching this video. Please don't think about it twice when you just try and attend one of these sessions. It will open your mind, it will give you more ideas on what it is all about. Don't be scared. It was working with Tenalytics that gave me the confidence to apply for some job roles that I naturally wouldn't apply, because I feel those job roles are usually too big for me. Like, the name sounds so big, and Tenalytics makes me understand that you can do it as a business analyst. We all got the idea. So I am 100% recommending Tenalytics to anyone that has thought about being a business analyst, a data analyst, or all the analysts that they coach you on. You won't have regret in it. You will come to thank me later. I am happy I joined Tenalytics. They help you develop your user stories on how to use scenario, on how to use real life experience to answer your interview questions, which is usually what helps you to ace your interview. I am so happy I joined Tenalytics, and I wouldn't have been where I am today without the coaching and help of Tenalytics. I personally would want to thank the coordinator. He's very good at doing his job. His name is Ubong. Please disturb Ubong on everything you need. Like, he's always there 100%. Any time of the day you call him, he picks. It doesn't matter he's sleeping 2 a.m., 1 a.m. I am really recommending Tenalytics. So guys, join Tenalytics and you won't regret it. And Tenalytics, I personally want to thank you for training me, for building my confidence, and for helping me to understand that there's a BA in every one of us. Thank you guys. Bye. Hi guys, my name is Abigails Journey, and I want to talk about.
Okay, so let's come back to, this is Abigail. All right, Abigail moving from a care worker role into a business analyst. And one of the things Abigail mentioned that is very important is real life case studies and real life projects. And that is where you build your experience. And I'm going to walk you through one of our classes so that you have a very good idea of what it takes to learn with us. You are not learning by watching videos. You are not learning by, listening to theories and listening to presentations, but you are learning by getting your hands busy and getting the job done. And this is what prepares you for day one on your role as a business analyst. And during interviews, recruiters can tell easily if you've done the job before or if you've not. And the moment they see you as somebody that is a beginner, somebody that is new into the space, then you start to lose the opportunity of landing that role. So project-based learning is very important for anybody who wants to transition into tech. And that's one of the things, that's one of our strong points at Tenalytics. Apart from your project-based learning classes, you also have your internship at the end of the program as a business analyst for 2 months, where you are working on a real-life project, helping and managing the project, where an organization would need to build a web application, and you would be the business analyst working on that project. You'd work with a software developer, you'd work with a scrum master, you'd work with a product owner, you'd work with other stakeholders in that organization to help bring that project to life. All right. You have Inie. Inie got a job as with Growth Stack, an ERP and software development company in Nigeria, after completing our data science program. All right. And Inie's journey was also very fantastic. In fact, Inie got this job because of the mentorship sessions and nothing else. Okay. And I'll tell you how. Inie has been in the tech ecosystem for a very long time, but he didn't have the confidence to apply to certain type of jobs. And for anybody who has joined a Tenalytics program, you'll understand how the mentorship sessions are structured. It is a session where we're going to push you, we're going to drive you to apply to those jobs that you think you could never get. Because a lot of people have something we call the imposter syndrome. Okay, imposter syndrome. All right, and what does imposter syndrome mean? It simply means that you feel you are inadequate, even though you have the skills, you've worked on projects, you've gone through an internship, I don't think I can get this job. All right. So we ensure during our mentorship sessions, we push you, we drive you, we show you where to apply, how to tailor your CV, how to present yourself during interviews, and so on and so forth. And that was how Inie was able to land this job. And the moment he landed his job, he sent a very long message into his WhatsApp group, which we of course screenshotted, and he wanted us to share this with people. Okay, and you will have the slides to read in detail. I'm not going to bore you reading line by line. But one thing I want you to take note of what Inie had to say was, I want to thank Tenalytics for bringing out the ginger in me. Okay, he couldn't apply to certain jobs, but the moment he started to join the mentorship sessions, he realized that, look, I have the skills. I can start to apply to these jobs and build my confidence. Okay, so of course, he's simply saying that I didn't know how to structure myself. I didn't know how to optimize my CV until he was able to join us and he knew what to do with the CV. And this enabled him land this opportunity. Chika joined our financial analytics program. He joined us in May 2023, completed his program in October 2023. And I beg your pardon, by October, he had resumed his role with Telford in the UK. All right. Telford is an organization where Chika works as a financial analyst, as a financial analyst with the Phoenix Group in Telford, England, UK. All right. And Chika, just like so many other people who moved to the UK, went for his master's program. All right. But the key question anybody should ask is, what do I do after my master's? A lot of people get stuck doing the survival jobs, working in the warehouse, working in care homes, and so on. And they get stuck in those roles. But how do I get jobs that would ensure that I grow and has career progression? Chika joined our financial analytics program. He joined us in May. And by October, he had started his job with Telford. I want you to also listen to Chika, all right? When you receive the slides, click on the link and listen to what Chika has to say, how the interview's preparation sessions helped him prepare for the interview that helped him land this job. Because we always work with you to ensure that you are able to say the right things when you get into that role. Experts who have done it before you would come to coach you, prepare you for these interviews. You have Idris. Idris worked with Jaguar Land Rover in the UK, Coventry to be specific, and Idris joined our data engineering program, and he secured a job as a data engineer working with Jaguar Land Rover. A lot of us want to drive and want to buy a Land Rover, want to buy a Jaguar. Idris worked with Jaguar Land Rover. Of course, Land Rover is owned by Jaguar right now, and he worked with this organization and moved from Jaguar Land Rover to Quant Spark. He got this job recently, working today as a senior analytics engineer. And this is Idris, whose journey started less than 2 years ago. All right. So in less than 2 years, he's been able to move from a data engineering role into a senior analytics engineering role. And he started this job in January 2024, just about 2 months ago. And I would showcase the profiles of these individuals on LinkedIn. And the reason why I want to do that is so that you learn some important ways you have to structure your own LinkedIn profile if you're ever going to get a job. And this is what we do during your LinkedIn optimization sessions, your CV review sessions, where your CV and your LinkedIn have to be in a particular way, a particular format that would attract the best organizations across the globe. In getting these jobs, we wrote the reference for Idris. We had in fact, we had to meet with the organization where they asked questions around how best do you manage Idris? What are Idris's strengths and weaknesses, and so on and so forth? Because every recruiter, every potential employer would want to know that you have done it before, okay? And I think I'll just go to the LinkedIn profile now, because this is a very important point. Because people ask, if I have always worked in care, or if I have always worked in logistics, how do I then get a job after just joining a 4-month training program? Would I not appear as a beginner in that role? And the answer is no. All right. So what do you have to do? And I'm going to showcase very quickly what you must do in order to make that switch. Practically, I'll show you what you need to do. And this is what our participants also do. And that's why they have been so successful. So it doesn't matter what you've done before. The moment you join Tenalytics, you are an employee of Tenalytics, not a trainee, not a learner. The moment you position yourself as a learner, you will not get that job, because no employer wants to hire somebody that would come to learn on their behalf. Okay, they want somebody who can do the job on day one. So we're going to go on LinkedIn very quickly, and I'll show you Idris's profile. I'll show you Muhyiddin's profile. Muhyiddin that got a job recently. Okay, I'll show you his profile as well. So let's first of all check Idris at DBC. Okay, let's go to Idris's profile, and I want to highlight something very important. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so Idris at DBC, of course, let's go to his job. You see that he started his job in January this year, 2024, as a senior analytics engineer. He worked with Jaguar Land Rover as a data engineer, and he worked with Tenalytics as a data engineer. All right. And this is what you must do. So when these recruiters come to your LinkedIn or on your CV, you can't afford to show them that you are new into the space. Because guess what? The same set of skills that you're going to learn over the 4 months of your program, which is project-based, and will equip you with the experience, equip you with the knowledge to do all the things you need to do. The moment they know, or the moment you present yourself as a beginner learning over the last 4 months, you would not get this job. So all our participants are employees of Tenalytics, and they come back to us. These organizations come back to do what? To ask for references, recommendations, and so on, before they confirm any employee eventually, or any candidate. Okay, so you are working on projects. You are working in a project-based environment. Your internships are group. You work together in a group. It's group-based, where you work together in groups. You learn in a cross-functional system, where the data engineer works with the data scientist, works with the data analyst, and so on and so forth. So this is something you must do, you must have. Imagine I come to this profile and all I see is you've never done anything data engineering before. And that's why you see he worked with Tenalytics on a contract basis. You can see that clearly, right? Now let's go to Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin that works with BBX in the UK, working remotely from Nigeria. All right, let's go to Muhyiddin's profile as well very quickly, and then we move back to the session. Okay. Now, one of the first things you see is you both worked at Tenalytics. All right. So let's go to Muhyiddin's profile. Muhyiddin currently works as a business development manager with BBX in the UK full-time from last month, 2024. Of course, you'd also see on his LinkedIn profile that he worked with Tenalytics as a data associate and also a data collection specialist and analyst. And these are the things that positions you for success. All right. These are the things that positions you for what? For success. And every other person that you'd see that has landed a job, this is very critical, because you don't want to present yourself as a beginner. All right. If I go to Victor, which I'm going to show you Victor's profile shortly, Victor Oyeshino. Victor, another fantastic professional. He joined us. He got a remote job working in the US as a people operations analyst just a month after joining us. All right. So this is Victor's profile. You'd see he currently works as a senior HR business partner. He works as a people operations analyst with Hugo in Chicago, Illinois, in the US. And he also worked with Tenalytics as a HR analyst. Very, very important. In fact, the reason why Victor got his job was because of this. So you can see this reports he posted. As simple as these reports look, as simple as they look, he was able to get his job based on these updates he made on his LinkedIn. All right. This was what the recruiter saw, and he got some confidence that he knows how to use Excel. And he was able to get his job just 1 month after joining us, because all the recruiters wanted him to do was to have a very sound understanding of Excel. And this was enough to convince them. Of course, he had a case study, he worked on the case study, and he was able to convince them. So that was one. This is another one where he built an employee satisfaction dashboard. He built an attrition dashboard. He built absenteeism dashboard. He was also able to build 2 absenteeism dashboards, all right? And that is one thing I always tell people. Your LinkedIn must serve as your #1 repository of your project. You can't say that you want to get into data analytics and you have nothing on your profile that speaks to data analytics. It makes no sense, all right? And that was how this particular role with us at Tenalytics helped Victor land this job with Hugo in the US, and he moved from this job to becoming a senior HR business partner with Tangerine Africa. All right. So this is Victor's story. And of course, Victor is still on you'd see that as one of the fantastic professionals that we have on our slides. Okay. And I'm just going to go back to that very quickly. This is Victor Oyeshino. You just saw his LinkedIn profile. Okay. He got a full-time job with Hugo in the US after completing his HR, before completing 1 month into his HR analytics program with us. So we don't tell you to wait until you are done before you start to apply to jobs. 1 month into your program, you start to apply to jobs. All right. And the reason is because you might just find that organization that requires the skill that you have at that moment. So why wait for 4 months when I can get the job today? Okay. And of course, you'd also get to listen to Victor. I've kept the link to Victor's, Victor had a very fantastic, feedback. You'd love to listen to that, to hear how he started. All right. I've known Victor for close to 4 years now. The very first time I met Victor was in Lagos, Nigeria, where I was teaching a physical class. And Victor delayed his transition for 2 years before he decided to jump into the tech ecosystem. And there was no going back after he got started. And to listen to so many other professionals, I've also kept, the link to the full testimonial on YouTube. There are amazing testimonials of professionals. And all you have to do is come here, click this link, and it takes you to the testimonial page. And you get to listen to everyone. Amazing professionals that have done the exact same thing you are trying to do. All right. You'd see them here. And just go and listen to their story, how they were able to start and how they have been able to grow, and the role Tenalytics played in helping them transition. So before we move away from people that have done it before, I think we need to listen to Michael, because this is also a very important, I would say, speech that would learn 1 or 2 things from Michael. So I'm just going to click on Michael and let's hear what Michael has to say.
This is an AI YouTube ad, which means I did not film this ad. I created it with AI. And if you're a coach...
Hi, my name is Michael, and I'm going to be speaking about how Tenalytics helped me to secure my first tech role. So at the beginning of the year, I was looking in different places onto how to gain the skills that I needed in order to get into the industry that I wanted, which was data engineering. I, funny enough, came across Tenalytics through Instagram. And I signed up to attend their first taster session. And through their first taster session, they showed me everything about how, the classes will go, how they'll teach you, how they'll guide you in securing your first tech role. I love the lessons because they gave us a good foundational knowledge of how to code, of how to know about the industry, and it made us understand that coding, data engineering is not as difficult as people, make it out to seem. So once I started applying for jobs, I got invited to an interview from a company, and I spoke to my mentors at Tenalytics, and they guided me through the entire process. Happily enough, they helped me through the entire process, and I was able to be offered a role as a sales engineer at a software company. And I just want to say thank you to Tenalytics through the support, through the classes, through the mentorships, because it was able to give me the skills that I needed along this course of the year and secure my first role in the tech industry. And I am very, very confident that if you was to join, it's going to benefit you just as much as it benefited me. Thank you.
So that's Michael. Michael, who got a job as a sales engineer, where he helps organizations determine on how to build that data infrastructure in-house as a data engineer. He works in the UK. Also, similar story, just like other people who moved to the UK for their masters, and from there, he needed to transition into something else. And today, Michael works as a sales engineer in a fantastic career path. And if you listen to him carefully, the mentorship sessions are absolutely phenomenal, played an instrumental role in helping him get that job. And I can't overemphasize, your technical skill would not get you the job, because there are 1,000,001 people out there that are just as good as you. They know how to code even better than you do. They know Excel better than you. They know Power BI better than you. They know process mapping better than you, all right? But what separates you from the competition? And these are the areas where we have built a strategy that has helped so many people. This is the singular reason why we have been so successful over the last 4 years, the additional employability services. Without this, you would struggle to get a job. In the major economies, for example, people don't know how to approach interviews. They don't know what to expect when they go for interviews. You don't know the right type of CV to use during interviews, all right? To get the best, to even get your room into the door, to get that interview opportunity, you need to have the right type of CV. So what are these additional employability services? Number one is your CV review, okay? If you don't have the right CV, you can't get into the room. So your CV is absolutely important. And I always advise people, the best CV format you can ever use is called the Watson CV format. It doesn't matter where you are. The Watson CV format will get you the very best results in terms of the structure and in terms of beating the ATS system, the applicant tracking system. Just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, in beating the applicant tracking system, which is a system that looks at the keywords on the job requirements and look at the keywords on your CV. And if you don't match for that particular role, your CV is thrown out. So the ATS is very important. And the CV format that gets you the best results is the Watson CV format, okay? So we show you how to structure your CV. We provide you with a template when we've shown you how to tailor your CV, because that's number one for you to get into the door. Secondly, your LinkedIn optimization. I showed you a highlight of one aspect that you have to implement if you're ever going to get success in the job market. Your LinkedIn must be structured in a way, and you can't present yourself as a starter. You can't present yourself as a beginner, especially if you have 5 years experience in a different role, 10 years experience in a different role. We show you how to do what? Tailor your past experience to fit into your new career path. So you're in customer service, you are moving to data analytics. How do you add a flavor of data analytics to your previous customer service experience? We'll show you how to do that using different tools, including ChatGPT, Job Analytics, and so on and so forth. Navigating the job market, a very important aspect that you must understand. In the UK, what are the jobs? Where are the opportunities? Where do I need to apply to jobs? Where do I upload my CV? When I get a call from a recruiter, what should I say? When I go for an interview, how do I start my interview? And I always tell people this. In the UK, for example, the way you get the best result during interview is always your confidence. Your confidence matters. It's not how good you are. It's all about your confidence and how you can sell yourself. So you have to start with small talk. Hello, how are you doing today? How is the weather? You start with small talks like that. All right. You get confident, you build a rapport with your audience, and then you start to answer questions. All right. And these are the things we help you do during, the job and interview preparation sessions. You can't go in there blindly, because you'd leave with a lot of regrets that, oh, I wish I knew this, I wish I knew that. So we prepare you for those interviews when you eventually get into the door. Okay, how to say the right things, what you need to say based on the career path you are trying to get into. And of course, references and recommendation. I talked about this before. Every Tenalytics trainee is an employee by default. All right, and that's what you'd have on your CV. That's what you'd have on your LinkedIn when you apply to jobs. So these organizations would always want you to provide a reference. Any organization in the US, any organization in the UK, any organization in Canada, in Europe, the major economies, anybody you see here on our slide, on our YouTube that got a job, we all wrote references for them, all of them. All right, because these organizations would want to attach you and you have to show them that you have somebody that can vouch for you, and not just anybody, a reputable organization that can vouch for you. And we move to level 2, where we have the weekly mentorship sessions. You heard a lot of people talk about the weekly mentorship, and this is where myself, the co-founder, other industry experts would push you to apply to jobs. This is where we bring in industry experts. We bring in people that have gone ahead of you to help hold your hands. Because for people that are transitioning newly, guess what? You'd face a lot of challenges depending on the career path you are moving into. Some people apply to jobs, they get a rejection because they've not been applying in a long time. So you get your first rejection, second rejection, and you start to get nervous. You start to, feel bad. But you need somebody who is experienced to show you that, look, the best of us get rejections. Get a feedback, work on the feedback, and that forms your experience in how you approach the next interview. All right. And these are the things you do during the mentorship session. And of course, we have on-the-job support. You've gotten a job in a new career path, and you are faced with a project that you don't know what to do. Tenalytics would be there for 1 month to ensure that you have a soft landing and you know what to do to keep that job. And I'll give a typical example. There was a gentleman who got a job with an organization in the UK, a data consulting company. So he was on a project that involved, it was a data migration project. He had never done that before. So he got nervous and he reached out to me. I had a call with him. Myself and the co-founder, we had a meeting with him, and all we needed to do was very simple. All right, this is what you need to do. These are the questions you need to ask during your initiation meeting, and so on and so forth. And he did that. He got feedback from people. He knew what he needed to do. And we simply just walked him through how to start. And step by step, he was able to complete that project. So we provide you with on-the-job support. And of course, in the year 2024, we moved to level 3, which is our promise to you. So over the last 4 years, because of how confident we are in the strategies we've put in place, we guarantee you an interview 1 month after you complete your program with us. It's a guarantee that you get an interview in your new career path 1 month after you complete your program with us. Most of the time, people get jobs, not even interviews, even before they are done. Okay, so but we are guaranteeing that you would get an interview 1 month, maximum of 1 month after you're done with the program. And apart from that, like I said, a lot of people would ask, why train with Tenalytics? Apart from all the amazing feedback you've heard from people that have gone ahead of you. Number 1 is what? We are phenomenal in helping people land their first jobs. And we've done over 2,000 people in the last 4 years, ensuring that they're able to cross that divide between the classroom and getting the job. there is a large gap, and a lot of people go for different training, have numerous Udemy courses, most of the time never even complete those courses, and they really can't transition from that class into getting the job, because the gap between the classroom and the job are the employability skills. All the employability skills I talked about, employability, where you have your CV, your LinkedIn, your interview prep, preparing for interviews and so on. If you don't have that, you would not be able to cross from the classroom into getting a job. And that's why so many people are stuck and they really can't move ahead with getting jobs. So we work with you to ensure that that's not a problem. Again, we have the best in the industry in terms of the professionals and the curriculum that you work with. And I'll be showing you the curriculum in a bit, and then we move into the Q&A, all right? And the curriculum is designed based on what the market demands, not what we think is best, but what the market demands. For example, as a business analyst today in the year 2024 and beyond, you must have a flavor of data analytics. Even though business analysis is your career path, you must have some level of data analytics. All right? As a data analyst, as a data scientist, you must understand how to use the new trends of technologies available. Prompt engineering using ChatGPT, which is part of your curriculum with us. Because these are the things recruiters want you to have. These are the things they are looking for. So you have the best curriculum, you have the best industry experts, best in class to work with you, to prepare you. You have a flexible learning approach, which I'll be walking you through in a few minutes, how you learn, and you don't have to be in class every single day. All right, you have sessions where you learn in class. You have a self-paced portion of the program to help keep that blend of what? Flexibility. So for those who are slow in learning, you have enough avenue to catch up easily. And I'll be showing you that, how it works practically when we move into the classroom. And I also talked about all the sessions you take to ensure that you are able to get the job. And this is the number one most important aspect of what makes 10Analytics 10Analytics, positioning you to land your first job. All right, your CV, your LinkedIn, interview prep, the mentorship sessions, and so on and so forth. So what's the class like? If I join a data analytics program, how long would it take for me to complete the program? Because these are some of the questions a lot of people would have and they would ask. So we're going to look through all the classrooms, okay? And we'll see the structure of the class. For the business analysis, your program is for 4 months. So you start, within 4 months, you transition into a business analyst. So how do you learn? You learn 2 months in class in a project-based environment. And then you have 2 months working on a project during your internship. All the programs comes with internship, because that's where you build, you work together, you work with other people that were not in your class, and you build cross-functional skills, communication skills, collaboration skills, and so on and so forth. So you work on a web application development project where an organization requires a portal, a web portal, to help them solve a problem in-house. So as the business analyst, you'll be responsible for gathering the requirements, managing the project, and ensuring that the project meets the requirements of the organization. All right, you're going to work with a software developer, real life. You'd work with a scrum master, you'd work with a product owner, you'd work with other key stakeholders, and you would work on these real life projects to help you gain the skills to get the job done on day one. So when you get hired as a business analyst, just like Abigail, you are not confused on what to do. You know exactly what to do on day one. So you do that for 2 months, your internship, and you'd have 2 months in class where you have a project-based learning, and that's 4 months in total, all right? And your classes are on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you are, there's a class that fits your time zone. If you're in the US, if you're in the UK, you are in Europe, you are in Africa with a similar time zone, your class happens 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West Africa time. So similar time zone, you don't have issues to be in class on Saturday. If you are in the US, you are in Canada, similar time zone, it is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. All right, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So it doesn't matter where you are, you have a class that fits your time zone. On Sundays as well, you have your classes from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you are in Nigeria, you are in West Africa, you are in Ghana, you are in the UK, you are somewhere in a similar time zone, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And if you are in Canada, you are in the US, it is 12 noon to 3 p.m. your time, Mountain Standard Time. All right, and that's the business analysis. We move to data analytics, which is also for 4 months, 3 months project-based classes and 1 month internship. So for 3 months, you're in class, working in a project-based environment. Every single thing you learn in Excel, you start Excel, you work on a project. You're not learning Excel for the fun of learning Excel. You are learning Excel to solve business problems, okay? You do that for 3 months, and then you have 1 month internship. And the internship, like I mentioned, is where you collaborate, you work in groups, you solve problems together, you have meetings, you have project updates, and so on and so forth. But the structure of the data analytics class is a bit different from the business analysis. For the data analytics, on Saturdays is when you have your live class. So on Saturdays, you have a live class where somebody like myself, a professional, an industry expert would work with you to help you do what? Work on projects. You have the opportunity to ask questions, and you do the things you see your facilitator doing. If you don't get it right, you have the opportunity to share your screen, and you interact in class. On Saturdays is when you have that, okay? Again, it doesn't matter if you're in the UK, you're in the US, you have a class that fits your time zone. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for those in similar time zones. If you're in Canada, in the US, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And on Sundays, you don't have a live class. You have a self-paced class on Sunday. And what is the self-paced class? So you have Watch Me Do It videos, bite-sized videos where you get to watch those videos, you learn and practice the concepts you see in those videos ahead of the next class the following Saturday. So what that does for you is you have the opportunity to watch those classes at your convenience on Sundays. You can even break it down, watch some on Sunday, watch some on Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth until the next class the following Saturday, all right, where you have your live session. So this makes it flexible for those who need to catch up. It's easy for them to catch up with the Sunday classes where it is what? Self-paced. Same with the financial analytics. Same structure like data analytics is for 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. And your live classes are on Saturdays, and on Sundays you have the Watch Me Do It videos, self-paced classes on Sundays. Same with HR analytics, same structure, just like the data analytics, financial analytics as well. All right. The full stack data science, similar structure, 3 months project-based classes, 1 month internship. And your classes, your live classes are also on Saturdays. On Sundays, you have a self-paced Watch Me Do It session. All right. For the Scrum Master, the total duration is for 2 months. You learn in class, learn the Scrum rules, the Scrum principles, the Agile framework for 1 month in class. And then you have 1 month working during your internship, working on the same project that a business analyst would be working on. So on that project, you would be the Scrum Master, and you'd work in collaboration with a business analyst to bring that project to life. Okay, so the Scrum Master program, 2 months, 1 month project-based classes, 1 month internship. And your classes are on Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Sundays 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West Africa time. Unfortunately for the Scrum Master, we don't have for the two separate regions, the US time zone, the UK, Nigeria time zone. It's one class for everybody, and that's the Scrum Master. The data engineering is for 5 months, all right? This is the program with the longest duration for 5 months because of the technicality of the program itself and what you'll be learning. So you'll be learning for 3 months in a project-based environment, and for 2 months, you'd work on your internship, where you'd build a data pipeline, end-to-end project, where you build a data pipeline, getting data, extracting, transforming, loading the data into a data warehouse, all right? Your classes are on Saturdays, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. West Africa time, which is equivalent to 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So different regions, you have the opportunity to be in this class. It doesn't matter if you're in the US, you're in the UK, you can fit into the data engineering. On Sundays, it's a self-paced watch me do it class. You don't have a live class on Sundays. You have a self-paced class that prepares you ahead of the next live class the following Saturday. And last but not the least is the cybersecurity analyst program for 4 months as well. And for 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship, and your classes are on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., live class. And on Sunday, you have another live class, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And this is the structure of the classroom, the structure of how you learn across all the 8 different programs. So before we start taking questions, and all the programs comes with internship, free internship, like I highlighted, and the importance of this internship cannot be overemphasized. If I want to hire you as a data analyst, I'm not going to ask you, oh, tell me the certifications you have. No, I'm not going to ask you, define what ETL means or define what data manipulation means. I won't ask you those questions. What I'll ask you is simple. Tell me about a time you have used your SQL skills to solve a problem. Okay, so you now have to tell me about a project you have been involved in. Tell me about a time you have built a database, you have used SQL to automate a process or to get work done, to solve problems. And that's where you have to learn in a project-based environment. If all you've been doing is watching videos, you would never be able to answer that question. And that's where a lot of people are dropped during the interviews, all right? So I'm going to walk you through very quickly in 5 minutes. I'll walk you through the classroom. So when you join a classroom, okay, does cybersecurity involve coding? I'll walk you through that. Don't worry. I'll answer those questions. We're coming to Q&A in about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so I'll walk you through the classroom. If you join a Tenalytics program, you register for business analysis today, what would your classroom look like? If you register for data analytics, what would your classroom look like? It's important that you know. A lot of people want to know, oh, how will I learn in class? How will I get my materials? If I want to book an interview session, I have an interview coming up next week. How do I book my interview? Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the classroom where you'd see clearly how you'd learn with us. Okay, and this gives you an insight into the project-based learning that Deza has always been talking about. What does it mean? Can I have a look? And so on and so forth. All right. So I'm going to walk you through that in the next 5 minutes, so you have a very clear idea of what it takes to learn with us. And then we move into Q&A. There are so many questions. So many questions. All right. So this is the classroom we use. And again, because I'll say I'm an admin across all the classrooms, I have visibility in every single class. However, you would only get to see the class you have paid for. You'd only get to see the program you have registered for. So let's assume you registered for the data analytics. Okay, you registered for data analytics, just like Tolulope is saying, she wants to register for data analytics. Let's go to the class that started in February, because we have a new cohort every single month, January, February, March, and the next cohort starts on the 6th of April. Okay, So let's go to the data analytics program that started in February, because they've covered quite a lot. So it's easy for us to see what they've done, all right? So let's get there. So one thing you'd see is you'd see data analytics EU. So EU simply means it's based on the region. If you are in the UK, if you are in Nigeria, you are in a similar time zone, you'd find yourself in this class. Now, the moment you get into the classroom and you click on classwork, everything that you need for the program will be found here. This is your data repository, your material repository, your class repository. Every single information is found on the class, it's found in the classroom, okay? For example, you have these important materials, very important. One of the things you do is you join a group the moment you register, and the group would contain your class members. So you find yourself in a group because you'd have group exercises, group presentations, and so on. As you have individual sessions, you'd also have group projects, group assignments, and so on and so forth. So you have your group list, all right? Job sites you can apply to, all right? The links to the job sites, you will get the best results from. This is provided to you. And you also have a LinkedIn material that shows how you structure your job position, your job role, how you structure that on your LinkedIn profile, and the different jobs you can apply to as a data analyst. Because guess what? A lot of people register for data analytics and they don't know that they can apply to business intelligence analyst roles. We saw that in the World Economic Forum, that business intelligence is one of the jobs that will grow in demand. And I told you that business intelligence is a derivative of data analytics, meaning that data analytics is the umbrella term and business intelligence is one of the career paths you can derive from data analytics, okay? So you can apply to jobs as a marketing analyst, as a business data analyst, as a risk analyst, research analyst, and you have all of these things provided to you so that you can leverage this in applying to jobs, okay? You have a CV template. I talked about the templates earlier, the Watson CV format. So after your CV sessions where you would have learned how to tailor your CV to every job applications, when you're applying to a job, you never apply to 10 jobs with one CV. You apply to 10 jobs with 10 CVs because you know how to structure your CV to best fit that role you're applying to. But you have a template that gets the best results, and you have that and you keep on modifying this particular template. And this template is the Watson format that you would use. I'm not opening it specifically. I'm not opening it deliberately because these are materials for people that have, paid to join the program, okay? You have where to book your interview session. So you have an interview coming up. What do? All you have to do is come here, click on the link. It takes you into a Calendly where you book your interview session, all right? So I have an interview coming up. I'm not sure this, okay. I have an interview coming up. I come here, click on the link, select the date, select the time, enter the name, enter my email, all right? And I enter the details of the job and I click on schedule the meeting. And if for any reason I don't find a time that fits my schedule, all I need to do is send in a message into the group. Everybody's in a WhatsApp group chat. I have an interview, I've not been able to book a session, and we make that concession for you. We have the job application tracking system where you track the jobs you're applying to, all right? Because this is very, very important. You cannot get a job that you have not applied to. So you need to apply to volumes, all right? And this is where you track the jobs you apply to, and you see how you are doing based on the targets you have set for yourself and the number of jobs you apply to eventually. But let's go into the main class. So those are very important materials. We talked about a couple of them while I was going through the session, the interview prep. This is how you book your interview, all right? The CV sessions, you're going to see the multiple CV sessions, the mentorship sessions, and so on and so forth, okay? So you'd see that as part of the things you do. You can see your CV review session, okay? But let's go to the main class. The first class you get to do as a data analyst, which is problem solving. The very first class is problem solving. So why is this platform fantastic? If for any reason you miss a class, right? You have the class slide. Everything that was done in class, you find it here. You just come back here, come to your classroom, go to the slides. You can download the slides from here, okay? Click on the slides and you see all the things you learn. Again, for us at Analytics, because we know the importance of building the foundation, like Michael, we listened to Michael's video, what Michael said, Michael that got a job as a sales engineer in the UK, building a strong foundation so that you build from there. And you're not learning by building the roof and you start to try to figure out how to patch things here, tape things here, and so on. People make that mistake. All right, you want to learn, you want to transition into data science. They go to start from, Python. Python is one of the last things you do when you are starting your journey in data science. All right, same with data engineering. Okay, so what are those building blocks that guides and helps you transition? So you start from what is data, types of data, what is data analytics, what are the type of data analytics, all right, what is a problem? Sorry about that. What is a problem? What are the types of problem? And you learn the problem solving framework and the different techniques, the CRISP DM, the root cause analysis. And if you miss this class, the class recording is there for you. All you have to do is go to the class recording. You have access to the recording and everything that was done in class, you can revisit it easily for those that missed class on that particular day. All right, so this is how the program, this is how your classroom is structured. Once you are done with problem solving on a Saturday, which is a live class, all right, it's a live class. I'm going to show you what the class looks like. On Sunday, you have your very first Watch Me Do It video, which is self-paced. And this is where you come into the classroom, you look at your videos, you have 6 videos to watch, all right, bite-sized videos, all right, introduction to Excel. That's the very first video you watch. The second video, pay special, the basics, the foundations of Excel, all right? You have something we call the drop-in session that happens during the week. And what are drop-in sessions? These are sessions where somebody who has missed a class on Saturday has gone back to the recording, watched the recording, practiced what was done in class, but still doesn't understand and needs help. You have a real human being that will jump on a call with you during the week to help you solve that problem. And this is a major friction that people have when they learn in a self-paced environment. I've experienced it myself. My background wasn't in tech. My first degree is in industrial chemistry. I started my career as a management consultant. So just like most of you, I transitioned from management consulting to data analytics, and it was very difficult because of issues like this. There was no drop-in session. There was nobody to ask questions to show me that Adeza, rather than putting an apostrophe, which is a single inverted comma, you need to put 2 inverted commas. And simple mistakes like that would take me weeks to figure out because, of course, I am new in that area. So we know those gaps that exist and we provide sessions like the drop-in session to cover those gaps for you so you don't face such type of problems. If you have issues, you have somebody that will jump on a call with you, help you answer questions. You listen to Abigail. We are always there for you. Anytime you reach out, we reach out back, except it's at very odd hours where, of course, first in the following morning, somebody would ensure that they get that problem solved. You have your mentorship sessions, all right, where we, help you prepare for so many things. We ensure that you have the right information. We hold your hands to help you transition easily, all right? What do we mean by project-based classes? Okay, I'm going to show you in your Excel class, all right? Your Excel class, you get to work on projects that are real life based. Now, this is a project for Agro Limited. It's a supply chain analysis case study. This is a case study for a real company, all right? This case study was designed based on the experience of somebody who worked in Alfa Romeo, worked in an organization, okay? He worked on a particular case and created and came up with this case study, all right? So we've created case studies based on experiences across different organizations. And you also get to work on similar projects, similar case studies, and build your own knowledge and experience, just as if you worked for that same company, okay? So you're learning how to use Excel for this particular supply chain analysis, where you are a data and insights analyst, and the company currently, has different problems, and we're meant to help them address those problems. You want to find out the total returns made by customers. You want to also outline the detail of returns per product. You want to also identify the company name, the driver name, the product name, and so many other things for this particular organization. All right. So all the things you've learned in Excel, you learn how to use those things to solve real life problems. How do you use VLOOKUP to solve a problem? Index and match, XLOOKUP, and so on and so forth, okay? So it is project-based where you get to do this amazing stuff. So what I'm going to show you very quickly during one of the mentorship sessions that we have, where we simulate interviews, all right? And what is a job interview simulation? What does it look like? When you're asked the question, introduce yourself, tell me, let's get to meet you. It's a question that always comes up during interviews. You preempt that question. It would always come up. Your recruiters, your recruitment agencies, your potential employers would want you to tell me about yourself. Oh, Adeza, can we get to meet you? Tell us about your experience. The question could come in different ways. And a lot of people mumble and fumble, and they don't know how to answer this question. All right. But there is an approach that we teach at Tenalytics, and that approach is called the SEAT approach. I want you to type it in the chat. It is called the SEAT approach, S-E-A-T. The SEAT approach. Just type it into the chat, S-E-A-T, so I know you are following me. That's the SEAT approach. And we'll see in real life how one of our participants, used that approach to answer the question, tell me about yourself, all right? Because we don't just teach you these things. We have role plays and simulations so that you prepare and you know how to answer that question when it comes. So we create fictitious jobs and we give them to you to apply to those jobs. When you apply to the jobs, we shortlist people that would come in to answer questions. So in a live session, just like this session where we have over 200 people, sometimes we have over 300 on the call live, and somebody's answering questions. We would serve as the recruiters, as the interview panelists, and we ask you questions and you provide us back with answers, and we give you feedback on what you've done at the end, okay? So I'm going to go to one of the interview simulation sessions, all right? And I'll show you how we simulated that for one of our candidates and how she used the SEAT approach to answer this question. So let me tell you what the SEAT approach is all about, first of all, so that when you are listening to her, you know exactly what she's doing, all right? So the SEAT approach is a technique you use to answer the question, tell me about yourself. S-E-A-T, SEAT. What is S? S is skills. You first talk about your what? Your skills, all right? So the interviewers need to know the skills you have. You don't start by saying, my name is Adeza, I'm the first son of my family, I'm from Nigeria, I am 35 or 36 years old, I'm this, no, nobody cares about all of that, all right? They want to first of all know your what? Your skills. And then you speak about your experience. The E is for experience, all right? So skills, experience. The A is for what? achievements, you talk about 1 or 2 major achievements. You don't need to talk about all your achievements, 1 or 2, all right? The last organization I worked in, they didn't have a database, but when I joined, I used my SQL skills to build a database to warehouse all the department's data to make reporting a lot more seamless. Okay, you talk about your achievements. And what is T? T is traits. You can call it traits, or you can call it type of person. So what type of person are you? Or what are your traits as an individual? Okay, and you want to talk about your traits in a way that it fits into the organization's core values. So when you research the organization and you see that part of their core values are punctuality, professionalism, and so on and so forth, you want to also tailor your traits to talk about you being punctual, you being a professional, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the SIT approach that you use to answer the question, tell me about yourself. So I'm going to listen to somebody where we had this interview simulation experience that I talked about, and you'd hear how she used the SIT approach to answer the question, tell me about yourself. It's a 1-minute session, but these are the things that happen in class that you also need to know about. This was a mentorship session, and the session was dedicated to the interview simulation experience. Okay, so let's listen in. And I believe you'd learn 1 or 2 things from here. Okay. So I'm going to move. So all the preamble and all of that, I'll just take it to where it's necessary and important for you to see the SIT approach in action. Okay. So let's see the SIT approach in action together.
Omolola, is that you?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, fantastic. So welcome to today's session. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing as well?
Yeah, I'm doing very well as well. All right. Thank you very much. So it's good to have you. Welcome. So my name is Mohammed, and I'm the HR officer here at Analytics. So I'm here alongside with the hiring manager, Olawale, and the CEO as well, Adeza. So we would love to meet you. So tell us a bit about yourself and your experience.
Okay, my name is Omolola. As you already know, I have had the opportunity to work as a business analyst in the financial industry for a number of years. Presently, I work as a business analyst in a consulting firm, which has exposed me to various other industries like telecommunications, transport, aviation, and hospitality. I'm proficient in the use of Power BI, in the use of Jira for project management. I am knowledgeable and experienced in agile methodology. I pay attention to detail. I pay close attention to detail. I listen actively. I manage time excellently because over the years, I've been able to handle more than one project at any given time. I communicate excellent. I have an excellent presentation skill when it has to do with presenting a solution to management, because this is something that I've done over the years and I do very well. I approach everything I do with an excellent mindset and give my best to everything I do. Thank you.
Right. So like I mentioned, that's the SIT approach in action. The SIT approach in action. You never go into interviews and mumble and fumble your words. You go in there and you know exactly what to say. And this is how we prepare you for interviews. Okay. So what I'll simply do is we are simply, I would say we are done looking at the classroom. You can see you have your drop-in sessions, you have the body mentorship sessions. What's the body mentorship? The body mentorship is where you have people like Muhyiddin that got a job recently in the UK. You have people like Abigail that got a business analyst job. You have people like Rafiat. You have people like Ikmat. You have people like Olamide. All the people that have gotten jobs ahead of you, we bring them back and they become one of your mentors. So the body mentorship is where we bring in alumni that have gotten jobs to also work with you. Okay, so you have your CV review sessions, you move into Power BI. Once you're done with Excel, you work on a capstone project. And your capstone project is also for a real life company. Okay, a real life company, and so on and so forth. Optimizing your LinkedIn profile, you have sessions on that. And all the sessions, for anybody who misses, the sessions are recorded. So all you need to do, come back here if you missed the session and watch, and you see all the things that was done, and you can also do the same. Okay, your Power BI classes, like I mentioned, 100% project based. This Power BI class, what are you doing? You are working for an organization called Zentura e-commerce company, and you're helping them solve a problem. All right, so it's project based, where you build a portfolio of the skills and the projects you worked on. Okay, so that's how you learn with us at 10Analytics. But just before I leave here, I'm going to show you one of the internships. All right, one of the internship programs currently ongoing. So that's, yeah. So you have a look at what the internship looks like and the type of projects you work on during the internship. I'll do that in the next 2 minutes. And let's look at the internship for the HR and the data scientists. Currently, the HR analysts, the data scientists are working on an internship where they are solving a problem for an organization, helping the organization address the turnover issues they have. Okay, so I'm just going to show you that very quickly. And perhaps if we have more time, I'll show you the BA and the Scrum Master as well. Okay, but let's look at the data science and the HR first of all. This gives you an idea of how your internship projects would look like. So the project material itself, you look at the case study where you work for organizations, and this particular organization is called Tech Incorporated, and you're helping them solve employee turnover. It's a predictive analysis case study. So you have a background, you have an introduction, there's a problem statement, there are objectives, you know what you are solving, the problem the organization has, and how to solve, and what you're meant to do to help the organization solve that problem. And this is where the data scientist would work with the HR analyst, and together you come up with a solution. Okay, so let's look at just a snippet of what they will be doing, and then I take
welcome to our.
All right, so let's just listen 1 minute and we see what they are doing in this project.
Employee turnover analysis project. As an intern joining our team, you will play a vital role in contributing to our efforts to understand and mitigate employee turnover within our organization. This onboarding material will provide you with an overview of the project, its objectives, and your role in supporting its success. Employee turnover poses significant challenges for organizations, including increased recruitment costs, loss of productivity, and potential negative impacts on company culture. Our organization is committed to understanding and mitigating employee turnover to ensure a stable and engaged workforce. The Employee Turnover Analysis Project aims to leverage data analytics techniques to identify underlying factors contributing to employee turnover within our organization.
Okay, so that's just an overview of what the project you'll be working on looks like. So the data scientists will be building a predictive model to help to predict the employees that are likely going to leave based on historical data, while the HR analysts would help to analyze the data to extract insights that would help to develop HR strategies, HR policies, and the direction the company needs to take in order to reduce the turnover within that particular organization. And those are the ways you learn and you work on projects together. So you have your weekly meetings where you guys get to meet, you share the task among yourselves in groups, you work on the project, come up with solutions, and you add this to your portfolio. So when people ask questions, how do I build experience? All these projects are the things that you add to your portfolio, and the link to your portfolio would always be on your CV. So when your CV goes through the ATS, it gets selected for further consideration. the hiring managers, the recruiters can check the link to your portfolio to see the quality of the projects you worked on, the depth of your skills based on what the type of projects you have worked on. All right. Our next cohort starts on the 6th of April, in less than 2 weeks, the 6th of April, 2024. And I talked about the IWD scholarship, the International Women's Day Scholarship. Of course, March is the International Women History Month, okay, where the theme for this year is Inspire Inclusion, all right? And for us at Tenalytics, what we've done to bring in as many women into tech, we started this initiative last year, 2023, where we brought in 320 women. We helped them transition into the tech ecosystem, all right? We wanted to bring in just 300, but we had an additional 20 because of the volume of people that wanted to take advantage of the scholarship. The scholarship is a 50% scholarship for 300 women. All right. But this year, we've also extended it to the men. But while we take in 300 women, we are only taking in 50 men. All right. Only 50 men. And the scholarship is a 50% discount across all our programs. And the reason why we are doing this is to bring in as many women into tech. So why do we even want to bring in women into tech? That's the question. All right. And I'll talk about that shortly. So the one for last year, 2023, I've also kept the link to the article, which was published by the Tech Cabal. All right. So the Tech Cabal published EdTech Platform Tenalytics Grant Scholarship to 300 women. So you can click on the link. It takes you to the article. You get to read and see the role we played in the lives of over 300 women, 320 to be specific, and how amazing they've been doing. In fact, a couple of them have gotten jobs. One, I would highlight, maybe when we get to her profile, I would highlight her for you. She got a job, this full visa sponsorship in the UK, working with the NHS as a data analyst. So you get to read the article. But the main reason why we are doing this is because women are largely underrepresented in the tech ecosystem. As of today, you have just about 26% of roles in tech occupied by women, and the others are occupied by men. All right. And even according to the Women in Tech network, it will take 133 years to close the gender gap. All right. So if we don't start doing something today, it will be difficult to close that gap where you have just a few women in the tech ecosystem and highly dominated by men. And this is the reason why we've also extended the scholarship to 50 men. All right. So that the men can serve as advocates. They can serve as allies to help drive more women into the tech ecosystem. Okay, that's the reason why we are doing this. Now, what's the scholarship all about before we move to the Q&A? 50% discount, and out of the 300 women, as of today, we have just about 121. So let me write this clearly so that it's easier for you to understand. Out of 300, because we've been, talking about this for about 2 weeks or more or less, about over 2 weeks now, we only have just about 121 roles left. And out of 50 men, we have just about 11 slots left. Okay, so for the men, we have just 11 slots to take advantage of the 50% scholarship. And for the women, out of 300, we have 121 slots left for women to take advantage of the 50% scholarship. So what's the scholarship all about and what does it look like? So for all the programs that we offer, if you are joining the data analytics, you are joining the data science, cybersecurity, data engineering, HR analytics, all these programs, instead of paying the full amount, if you are paying in dollars for $750 or £625 or 1,050 Canadian dollars or $900,000, you get to pay 50% discount across all the programs. So instead of paying $750, you get to pay $375. Instead of paying £625, you get to pay $313. Instead of paying 1,050 Canadian dollars, you get to pay 525. And instead of paying 900,000, you get to pay 450,000. The only program that has a different fee is the Scrum Master program, right? Where instead of $450, you get to pay 225. Instead of 375 pounds, you get to pay 188, 315 Canadian dollars, and 270,000 naira. And that's the discount we have. And like I said, we have just 121 slots left for the women and just 11 slots left for the men. So you want to get into tech, you want to transition, and you want to do that with Tenalytics. This is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you to take advantage of the IWD scholarship. And how do you key into this and how do you register? Okay, to register is very simple, and I'll just walk you through that, and we take all the questions that we have for today. You click on the link over here that says pay online, which my colleagues would share with you. Click on that and it takes you into the enrollment center. All right, the enrollment center is where you get to make payments. You have access to the program brochures. You click on this link, it takes you to the program brochures for all the programs that we offer. You want to register for cybersecurity, you click on cybersecurity and you see the brochure and the nitty-gritty of what the program entails in cybersecurity and all the things you would learn. Of course, I'll take those questions that you have as well. Okay, introduction to cybersecurity, the foundations of computing and networking, information security principles, offensive and defensive cybersecurity, cryptography, cyber threats and attack vectors. So all the things you learn, you get to do that by looking at the brochure. Okay, now, if I want to register for data analytics or business analysis, all I need to do is come in here, click on business analysis, okay, and it takes me into the payment page for business analysis, and I can easily, you know, pay the 313 pounds to take advantage of this, you know, scholarship that we have ongoing. So I want to pay the full amount, 313 pounds. I enter that here. All right, click on proceed to pay, enter my full name, enter my email, enter my phone number, and then I click on pay with card. All right, enter my card details, and then I confirm payments. Now, the moment I confirm payments and I get to pay, I'll receive an automated email with my receipts and also the link where you get to fill in a form to register all your specific details. And that's how you get to make payments for any of the programs. All right. Now, one question people always ask is this: oh, Adeza, I want to take advantage of the discounts. The program starts on the 6th of April. And I don't want, if I'm a man, for example, I don't want the 11 slots gone. Okay. And if I'm a woman, I don't want the 121 slots gone. So what I want to, can I secure my slots today by making a part payment, and then I complete the payments by the end of the month? And absolutely, you can do that. So all you need to do in that regard is go back to the enrollment center, go to where you have balance payments, click on the balance link, and with that, you can pay an amount that is lesser than the amount for the program. So let's take, for example, the business analysis or data analytics is 313 pounds. But I have 150 or I have 200 pounds today. I type in 200 pounds and I reserve my seat with 200 pounds. So I know that my scholarship slot is secure. And I get to pay the balance of 113 on the before the 31st, or not before the 31st of March. And that's what gets my slot secured. Your slot is not secured by word of mouth, okay, by telling us that, oh, keep the slot for me. The moment you make a payment to secure the slots, that gets secured. Now, for those that will be doing a transfer, because for some people, most especially for those in the UK. So if you're in Canada, you click on any of the link, it shows you the amount in Canadian dollars. All right. If you are in a specific location, it shows you the currency based on your location. If you're in Nigeria, it shows you in Naira. All right. Now, if I want to do a direct transfer, I can do that using these account details, which you have on, you know, it's also on the enrollment center. Once you do a direct transfer to this bank account, take a screenshot, very important. Take a screenshot as proof of payment and come in here to upload that payment, okay? You click on that link, it brings you here, enter your email, okay? Enter all your details. Enter your email, click on next, type of payment. I made an initial first part payment. You fill the form and then we get all your details on board and you get onboarded into the program, all right? For those that will be making part payments to join, it's important for you to note that to get your welcome kit that contains all the materials that you need for the program. For example, data analytics, you need to install Excel, you need to have Power BI, you need to have SQL, you need to know how to install Microsoft Fabric. All those things are in your welcome kit. So until you make your balance payments, you can't get the welcome kit, all right? So it's important that you pay, secure your slots, and pay the balance as early as possible so you receive your welcome kit. So that's how you become a part of the program, all right? I'm going to take questions from you. I know a lot of questions have been asked. Can we direct transfer to Nigerian accounts? So told you, first of all, the only way you can pay in Naira is if you're in Nigeria. That's number one. And yes, you can. So once you click on the link for any of the programs, you have different options. You can pay in USSD. You can, select a bank transfer option, and then an account will be generated for you to make payments. Okay. So that's how you can get paid. You can make the payments by doing the transfer. All right. Somebody's saying, if I'm starting, in May, can I get a scholarship? So you have the opportunity to defer your program by 1 month. All right. So rather than starting on the 6th of April, you can start in May. However, you need to make your payments before the 31st of March. All right. Because the scholarship ends on the 31st. The moment we get to 300 women, the scholarship is off. The moment we get to 50 men, which we only have, we need just 11 more men to complete 50. The moment we get to 50 men, the scholarship is also off. So if I want to start in May and not April, yes, you can do that. All right. And how do you do that? So when you are filling the form, once you've made payments and you receive the automated receipt into your email, you'd also get the link to this form. And for those that do a direct transfer, you'd also have the link here where you have upload your receipts. So while you are filling this form, as you click on next, I'm just going to select because I want to take you to that particular aspect. Okay. Let me just click on next, just fill in anything I see, read the terms and conditions, click on next. When did you make payments? You upload the screenshot of your payment. What's your mode of payment? I paid using main stack. Click on next. Again, for some of you who would have questions around the program to join, you are not sure if you should do cybersecurity or Scrum Master or financial analytics, you can select I need to speak with a professional. If you don't know what to select, once you've made your payment to secure your slots and you are filling this form, select I need to speak with a professional. And myself and other experts would have a call with you to help you select the program that best fits your career path, that best fits your previous experience, and so on and so forth. Okay, but you must have made payments to select you want to speak with a professional. Click on next. I want to be considered for the scholarship. Click on next. Upload your passport. Click on next. What cohorts do you want to start? So for those who want to start in May, this is what you select. So if you want to start in April, the program on April starts on the 6th. You select 6th of April. If you want to start in May, you select 4th of May. Okay, so you can take advantage of the scholarship and defer your program to start in May and not in April. All right, it's totally up to you. So, and this is where you get to select that. For those that asked the question, I hope this answers your question. All right. What's the difference between Data Analytics EU and NA? They're exactly the same trainer, the same facilitator, the same material, the same curriculum. The difference is just that one is for the EU, the Nigerian time zone. The other one is for the US, the Canada time zone. For example, it is 2:54 p.m. my time in Alberta, Canada. Okay. In the same Canada, in Ontario, for example, that will be 4:54 p.m. In Nigeria, it will be 11:54 p.m. In the UK, it is 10:54 p.m. So if I have a class that starts at 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Nigerian time, I'm telling somebody in Alberta, somebody like me, to join that class. 11 a.m. is, that would be 11 minus 7. That would be 4 a.m. my time. Okay, so it's difficult for me to join a class at 4 a.m. All right, because of the timing. So you have a time that fits each time zone, but it's the same curriculum, it's the same trainer, the same facilitator. The only difference is the time zone. When you complete your program, do you get a certificate? Absolutely, you will get a certificate. And all you need to do is go on LinkedIn. Okay, just go on LinkedIn. Just give me 1 second. I don't know if I close that page, but all you need to do is go on LinkedIn, okay? Do a search. Let me go to my home tab. All right. Do a search for Tenalytics. Okay, do a search for Tenalytics. Okay. And when you select Tenalytics, click on people. All right, and you see the amazing professionals. So you see the people that have joined our program, where they are, the amazing stuff they are doing, and so on and so forth. All right. You can also just click on posts, go to Tenalytics, click on posts. Okay, so see the posts where people have tagged us and what they are doing, and so on and so forth. And you would come across people that have posted their certificates as well. This is one. This was 8 months ago. All right, and there are more recent people. This is Muhyiddin posting his hackathon. Muhyiddin that got a job, he participated in a hackathon that we organized in December last year. All right, again, you see what people are posting, and so on and so forth. All right, but let me show you what our fantastic certificate looks like for somebody who posted his own recently. Okay, so this is Chidima. Let me see. All right, this is Raymond, and Raymond talking about earlier in the year, I decided to self-develop. I enrolled for the business analysis program with Tenalytics. I must say that it has been a rewarding experience. I'm now a certified master business analyst, a dream come through. And you can see his certificates, right? My profound gratitude to Tenalytics. And that's Raymond's certificate. So yes, you do get a certificate from us when you are done with your program, all right? So let's take questions. Okay, let's take questions. If you want to ask a question by unmuting yourself, you can raise your hand. I'll call you up to unmute and ask a question. You can just type in your questions into the chat. So what I'll do is I'll go into the chat and I'll start taking the questions one by one. Okay, Joseph is asking, what certificates would you be given? PSM1 or PSM2 for Scrum Master? So we don't give you, PSM is a certification that if you want to take, you take at your own discretion. All right. What we'll do for you, Joseph, is we prepare you, we give you past materials, and we prepare you for the examinations. Okay, we show you past materials, the materials you need to take into consideration if you want to sit for the exam. The PSM exam is one of the easiest exams anybody can do. I don't need to be a Scrum Master to even pass that exam. All right, so we will provide you with the materials to prepare. We don't give you the certification. All right. How much is the fee without the scholarship? That's right on my screen, up here. That's right on my screen. So $750. So people that joined, all the people that got jobs that you see, they pay the full amount, but you have the opportunity to take advantage of the scholarship. Okay. Kind of simplify Naira payment. So Oladayo, what exactly is the challenge? Do you want to explain what the challenge is? And I can help you answer the question. All right. What exactly is the challenge? all you need to do is click on any of the programs you want to join. And if you're paying in Naira, there are so many options. You can pay through Paystack, you can do USSD, you can generate an account to make payments and so on. Does age pose a barrier? I would answer that question. The direct answer is no, it doesn't. But I'll answer the direct question to you. You talk about passports. Is it? No, it's a photo passport, Chinwe. All right. So because we are getting women, we want women to be the recipients of this scholarship. So you provide, when you're filling in the registration form, you upload a passport photograph of yourself. Is one of the requirements to be a part of the, to take advantage of the 50% scholarship. Now let's answer the question, does age pose a barrier in tech? The answer is no. Nobody would discriminate against you, not in any of the developed economies. You want to work remotely, you want to get a job, you're in the UK, you're in Canada, in the US, you're in Europe, in Poland, wherever the case might be. You don't need, nobody's going to discriminate against you based on your age. We've had people as old as 55 joining the program. And this gentleman simply wanted to start his own consulting practice after retiring, having over 30 years of experience, decided to retire, joined the program, and today he's doing amazingly well. All right. Give more details about data engineering and what it entails. Beautiful. Before I take that question, I have on my slide all the career path, okay, and the explanation for them, okay? So if you have any, you want to understand the specifics, the nitty-gritty of any of the programs, data analytics, that's why we have this Q&A. So we have another 1 hour for Q&A. Ask any questions that you have, and I'll answer those questions. Let me start with Evangelist Okafo. Okay, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Go ahead and ask a question. Okafo.
Okay. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
I actually have written the question down because I was waiting for it to be answered.
Okay.
So my question actually, now that I'm in the audience, is can one spread the payment, the part payment, since we have mentioned that we can pay part payments, can one spread the part payments into 3 or 4 places before your time of class, before your starting period?
Absolutely. The program starts on the 6th of April. However, registration closes on the 31st of March. Now, the reason why you need a week between when you pay, the reason why you need a week before the program starts is because of all the things I mentioned. You need to be prepared in terms of installing the applications that you need, which would be in the welcome kits that we send to you once your payment is complete. Okay, so if for somebody who completes his or her payments on the 5th of April, which is a day before the program commences, you'd have challenges because you have not installed all the tools, you are not fully prepared for the program itself. So yes, you can spread your payments into 3 payments, 5 payments, as long as you complete the payments by the 31st of March. And the program commences on the 6th of April. Okay, so I hope I answered the question, Evangelists. I hope I answered your question. Just type into the chat because I can see you've muted yourself again. But I believe I answered that question. All right. I have another person. I'll take all your questions. No worries. Okay, don't worry yourself so much. I'm here to take all the questions you have. Joseph, before I come to you, let me take this question in the chat. All right. Can someone work remotely after this course? Absolutely. I just showed you somebody who started working remotely last month in February, and I'll show you, okay, I think I also showed you Victor, and I'll show you another gentleman. Let me just confirm I have him on my slides because these are people that we can't put everybody that has gotten jobs on the slide. But just give me 1 second. Let me check if I have him on my slide, and I'll show you. We have tons and tons of professionals that work remotely. Okay, tons and tons that work remotely. I'm not sure I have. So I talked about the lady that got the scholarship last year, and she works with the NHS She got full visa sponsorship. This is the lady over here. Her name is Ikmat. Ikmat works with the NHS. She works remotely, although she resides in the UK, works with the NHS, full visa sponsorship after joining our data analytics program. Okay. Let me move to, I'm not sure if I have him here. Yes, so this is Abdul Rashid. Abdul Rashid used to live in Ilorin, Kwara State in Nigeria. He works remotely as a data scientist for Chow 420 in the US. And he got this job. We worked with him, prepared him. In fact, Abdul Rashid today is one of the mentors, one of your body mentors that would work with you for those that want to also secure remote jobs. All right. So Abdul Rashid landed a full-time role as a data analyst, okay, working remotely for Chow 420 in the US. So I hope I answered that question. All right. Let me see. What's the cost outline? What's the specific laptop? A mid-range laptop, mid-range 256 gigabytes SSD, 8 gigabytes RAM. All right. Core i5. If you can, Core i7. Mid-range laptop gets you into all the programs that we offer. Okay. Let me take the question from Joseph. I think Joseph has a question. His hand is raised. Like I said, if you have questions, feel free, raise your hand. I'll ask you to unmute yourself, or you can just drop it into the chat and then I'll take those questions. All right, go ahead, Joseph. I've asked you to unmute.
Okay, hi, good evening. I don't know what's your time. It's 9 in Nigeria is about 10 to 11. So
Okay.
I think my question is in line with the evangelist. I was thinking that while someone is, on the training, he can make, the payment can be installments, maybe 3 to 4 times. 450K, even with the scholarship, is huge in Nigeria now. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but that is just that. Maybe if there's a room for installment payments while the person is the 4 months program, most likely. So why not say, okay, 3 installment or thereabout, so that I think it will be more flexible. People, so that, other persons have, people here have other responsibilities that they feel that with a flexible more payment, it will be easier for them to upskill themselves. Otherwise, some of us might just be out of range, because what I discovered, as soon as you, put up the slide for the fees, the participation actually reduced. It was around 200 and something, but as soon as 200 participants, but as soon as the fee came up, we are about 150 now. So you can imagine, well, because a lot of persons were just waiting for the, let me hear what the fees are, so that's my own view. And
all right. Thanks a lot for your view, Joseph. Again, like I said, for the month of March, we are only giving the scholarship for 1 month. And there is an objective behind what we are doing. For all the other months, we don't charge 50%, we charge 100%. And we are always oversubscribed, always. Every single month, we are oversubscribed. And what do I mean by we are oversubscribed? We have a target for the number of people we want to have in class. We tell people that this class is filled up, you have to wait for the next month. Okay, so again, like you said, what the focus is on the value, not on the amount. Because 450,000, ask anybody here on the call who maybe lives in the UK, lives in Canada, even in Nigeria, it is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You'd never say this cheap. Given the value, and I dare say, and I say it anywhere, take it to the bank, you get the best of the best from Tenalytics. We are the best in the business in terms of both the technical and helping you transition to get the job. So we are confident in the skills that we're going to impart in you. Okay, so it's, like I said, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And those that know the value that they stand to gain also know that it is a steal for them. All right. So what I always advise people to do is you have the opportunity to split your payments into 4 months, into 3 months, most of the time into 3 months, but you have to pay the full amount. If you are going for the 50% scholarship, the payment has to be made before the program starts. All right. You want to split your payments into 3 months. Yes, you can, but you have to pay the full amount. So instead of paying 450, you get to pay 900,000. Okay. I hope I answered your question, Joseph. So let me talk about data engineering a bit before I go to the next question for the person that asked data engineering. First of all, what does a data engineer do? It's important you understand what the career path is all about, okay? Now, for a data engineer, you are the person that makes data available, all right? Let's take the banking industry, for example. We all have our bank applications on our phones. Your GT Bank, your First Bank, your Revolut, your Monzo, Barclays. You have your mobile app, your Scotia Bank, and so on and so forth. Every transaction you make on that mobile application, so let's call it M app, the transactions are stored in a database somewhere. All right, you have web applications. You can log into your web application. Let's call this W app. And all the transactions you take on this web application is also stored in a database across all the customers this bank would have. Okay, you have POS, you have ATMs, and so on and so forth. All right, all the transactions that happen across these systems are stored in a database somewhere. So a database is simply a system that stores data. Now, the data analyst would need this data to analyze, to help tell the business that most of our transactions happen in the evenings, or most of our transactions are from customers that are in the Gen Z or the millennial demography. So we need to create products and services that would fit them. So you need to do the analysis as a data analyst. The data scientist also needs this data to do the analysis, but they can't access the data because the data are in systems. They're in the mobile app, they're in the web app, they're in the POS, ATM transactions. So the data engineer is that professional that creates data pipelines, all right? Pipelines. So creates data pipelines, extracting the data, transforming the data, and loading the data in a central location called the data warehouse. And this is the central location that the data analysts, let me call them the DA, the data scientists, the HR analysts, and every other person that needs the data will then go into that data warehouse to get the data. So the data engineer provides the data in the organization. It's equivalent to a plumber. We like to use this analogy. You build a house, you sink a borehole, all right? And you have a tank. Now, water comes from the ground and gets into the tank. But how does the water get into your kitchen? How does it get into your bathroom? How does it get into your washroom and all the other locations that would need the water? That's the data engineer being a plumber, creating the pipes, moving the water from where it is to where it should be. So that's what the data engineer does in any organization. And for you to do this, to build these pipelines, you must learn how to code. You're going to start with Introduction to Data Engineering, and you're going to learn SQL, Structured Query Language, which is a language for databases. SQL and Python would be your bread and butter every single day. You're going to use Python, you're going to use SQL to build those pipelines. Your SQL will be used to build databases, tables in the database, data warehouses, and so on and so forth. Your Python will be used to build your ETL pipelines to move data from where it is, transform the data, load the data to where the data should be. You'll learn how to use Linux for your bash scripting and so on and so forth. You learn how to get data from databases, APIs, different websites using API connections and so on. You learn Apache Spark, Apache Airflow for your data orchestration and scheduling, which simply means automating those pipelines. Now imagine that you're a plumber, you've built the pipes, okay? And then water can move into the kitchen, but anytime you're not around, nobody can access that water in the kitchen because you are not available. Okay, so as a data engineer, you must automate the process in a way that whenever data is needed, the data is always extracted from where it is and it always moves to where it should be. And that is what you'd use Apache Airflow and Spark to do. You'd learn cloud engineering using AWS, Amazon Web Services. You're also going to learn GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and you'd also learn Azure for Microsoft. All right, you learn these 3 different cloud platforms. All right, and then you learn version control using GitHub and ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. And again, I talked about the duration already. It's for 5 months, 3 months in class, and 2 months internship as a data engineer. All right. So people are asking about data science. What does it entail? Data analytics. What does it entail? Don't worry, I'll talk about that. Okay. Difference between data science and data analytics. People always ask this question a whole lot. Since it's come up a lot, let me just talk about that. Okay. So Faith, I hope I've answered your question. For somebody who has zero knowledge in coding, if you listen to Michael carefully, Michael took the data engineering program and he was very specific. So if you missed what Michael said, maybe I'm just going to play Michael's video once more. Michael took data engineering and Michael got a job in the UK. So listen to Michael and hear from him yourself.
If you really want to build your career in cybersecurity and
My name is Michael, and I'm going to be speaking about how Analytics helped me to secure my first tech role. So at the beginning of the year, I was looking in different places onto how to gain the skills that I needed in order to get into the industry that I wanted, which was data engineering. I, funny enough, came across Analytics through Instagram, and I signed up to attend their first taster session. And through their first taster session, they showed me everything about how, the classes will go, how they'll teach you, how they'll guide you in securing your first tech role. I love the lessons because they gave us a good foundational knowledge of how to code, of how to know about the industry, and it made us understand that coding, data engineering is not as difficult as people, make it out to seem. So once I started applying for jobs, I got invited to an interview from a company, and I spoke to my mentors at Analytics, and they guided me through the entire process. Happily enough, they helped me through that entire process, and I was able to be offered a role as a sales engineer at a software company. And I just want to say thank you to Analytics through the support, through the classes.
Okay, so let me just stop there so that we have more time to take questions. Again, all the programs are beginner friendly. You don't need any prior experience. You don't need prior knowledge. You don't need a specific degree to be in any of the programs. All right, just like Michael, who had no experience. He joined the data engineering. And the reason why data engineering is a bit longer is because you're going to learn how to use Python to do amazing stuff, which you would need time to assimilate the knowledge. But every single problem, every single class, you start from the foundation. You start from the beginning. All right. And that's why if you notice, your very first class is Introduction to Data Engineering. And when you start your first Python class, you start by learning data structures. Okay. And what are data structures in Python? It's like you learning ABC. That's the foundation of a language. So once you know the alphabets, you can then write 2-letter words, you can write 3-letter words, and you can then start to write a lot more complex sentences. And that's how Python is. Okay, so you don't need any experience to be in the data engineering program. And I hope I answered that question. So I'm quickly going to go to data analytics, data science, and then I'm sure by the time I answer this question, you'll have a very good understanding. But let's start with data analytics. I've been a data analyst all my life. Okay, so and I would say it's the best decision I ever took as an individual. All right. So as a data analyst, what's your responsibility? Your responsibility is to help organizations make decisions or take decisions based on the data that they have generated. All right. Now, let's take, for example, between last year, 2023, so let's say January 2023, we did revenue of maybe 5 million. All right. January, and this is just for illustration purposes, okay? January 2024, we did 8 million. Comparing last year, so year on year, okay, January 2023 to January 2024, February 2023 to February 2024, comparing, let's say February we did 3 million, and February 2024, we did 5 million. As a data analyst, you always answer the question, what happened? So every business wants to know, what did we do last year? So we can compare to another period and know if we are improving or we are declining. All right. So looking at this, 2023 in January, we did 5 million. 2024, we improved. We did 8 million. 2023 February, we did 3 million. 2024 February, we did 5 million. This is what happened. Okay. Every data analyst must answer the question, what happened? So this was what happened between January, February 2023 and January, February 2024. And this is called descriptive analytics, answering the question, what happened? Okay. Now that you know what happened, you need to know why it happened. Why do we have 8 million, a 3 million increase from last year? And why do we have 5 million in February, which is a 2 million increase from last year? You want to know why that happened. So you're going to dive deeper into the data as a data analyst to look for events, to look for different patterns in the data that would show you the reason why that increase happened. Did we hire a sales team? Did we hire a sales? Do we have a sales force in place? Did we increase our promotions? What exactly did we do? So that we can do that in subsequent months and keep on increasing our revenue. Now, the moment you dive into the data to find out why specific things happened, you are going into diagnostic analytics. And diagnostic analytics answers the question, why did it happen? So every data analyst, these are the two questions you answer in a company using the data that they have generated. What happened and why it happened? What happened and why it happened? All right. Now, as a data scientist, and I'll talk about the skills you need as a data analyst to get this done. How do you answer the question, what happened, why it happened, and so on? But let me explain the data science part as well so that it makes a whole lot of sense. All right, just give me 1 second. I'll share my screen and we'll talk through it together. So you understand the key difference between the two career paths and it makes a lot of sense to you. All right. So now that as a data analyst, you've seen what happened, you've answered the question why it happened. As a data scientist, you will take it a step further because that's the data scientist. The data scientist looks into the future to find out what will likely happen. So if January last year was this, January this year is this, February last year was this, February this year is this. What will be, what will be our results or what will match? Of course, you know March 2023 because it has already passed, right? Let's say March 2023 was 2 million. You can now predict what will happen in March 2023, even though you've not gotten to that month? What will happen in April? What will happen in May? And so on and so forth. So the data scientist takes it a step further by adding something we call predictive analytics. And predictive analytics is simply what? Looking into the future of what would happen based on what has happened in the past. All right? That's the major difference between the data analyst and the data scientist. The data analyst would answer a question on what happened, why did it happen, while the data scientist would add predictive analytics, which is what will happen. So you are looking into the future. And for you to answer a question on what will happen, you must have a very good foundation in statistics. And that's why your data science does not start with Python. Data science starts with statistics. Data science starts, once you move from statistics, you move to Excel for forecasting and predictive analytics. You move to Tableau for data analytics. You move to SQL before you eventually start your Python. All right. So I don't know if this helped to give some clarity into the major difference between the two. Now, apart from the different types of analytics involved, let me just take this out and erase, and I'll show you the specific skills that you must learn as a data analyst. So as a data analyst, you are starting your program with problem solving because that's where the foundation starts from. You need to know how to identify a problem. You need to know the right type of tools and techniques. You even need to know if I should use Excel, if I should use Power BI or SQL for this particular problem. All right. How do I break the problems into different parts using a framework called the McKinsey-Misi model? Okay, you would learn the CRISP-DM framework and so many other things in problem solving. And then you move into Excel. That's the foundation for you becoming a data analyst. You move into SQL. SQL is structured query language, and this is the foundation for what? Databases. This is the language that helps you interact with databases. Remember, the data engineer would get data from all the different sources and put the data in a central location in a database. As a data analyst, how do you access the data from that database? You need to know you need to understand the SQL language, all right? You learn Power BI, you learn Tableau for business intelligence and data visualization, and then you learn data storytelling, where you can tell a story from the analysis you've done in a way that it is convincing enough for the people that need to take decisions. So when your CEO, your directors, your line managers, they listen to your presentation based on the analysis you've done, they can take a decision. All right. And you learn ChatGPT for analytics and Microsoft Fabric. Of course, today you can't be a data analyst without knowing ChatGPT. It's a negative for you if you don't know how to leverage ChatGPT. And for anybody who is a data analyst and you don't know ChatGPT, you don't know what you're missing out on. All right. ChatGPT would make, in fact, if ChatGPT existed when I was a data analyst about a decade ago, I don't know where I would have been today in terms of immense growth. Because what you can do is simply amazing. Something that will take you hours to do. With ChatGPT, it takes you minutes. All right. And these are the things you'd also learn how to use ChatGPT, not just the ChatGPT, the free version. You have the 3.5, which is the free version of ChatGPT. You have the 4.0, which is the paid version of ChatGPT. And with the 4.0, you can do, in fact, I can't even go into detail. You can build a machine learning model with 4.0. You can build a machine learning model from start to finish. So today, employers are not just looking for people who are technically sound. They're also looking for people who have good skills writing the correct type of prompts into ChatGPT to get the right type of results that would help to solve problems. All right. And these are the things you learn in data analytics. And for data science, like I mentioned, you start with statistics. That's the foundation for prediction, for forecasting, for machine learning. All right, you start with that. And again, for the first time in your lives, you would enjoy learning statistics. I learned statistics in high school. I learned in university, but I never enjoyed it, even though I passed it. But I was doing things I really didn't know how relevant they were. But for the first time, you learn how statistics is important for you solving problems that exist in your data. All right, you would learn forecasting and predictive analytics using Excel. You would learn Tableau for data analytics. You would learn SQL, very important for anybody going into data. You learn Python for your exploratory data analysis, machine learning, and computer vision. Let me show you a project on computer vision that you would work on when you join us. So I'll show you what our people have done on LinkedIn. So you see how amazing it is. When I explain, people don't get how amazing it is, the computer vision project, all right? So I'm just simply going to type Analytics, computer vision. I hope something comes up. Let's see if something comes up. All right, so we see what people have done, their computer vision projects. Let me click on posts. Aha, beautiful. This is a picture. I want to show you a video. But when you look at this, this is object detection. So when you see the technology that drives your facial recognition on your mobile phone is the exact same technology you're working with when you build projects like this. So this is a hand detection program built by Peace, who was in our data science program. You can see Peace. She built this amazing, computer vision project, and you can see her tagging Analytics and the rest. But I want to show you a video because you'd really enjoy the video. This is also a pose detection, right? This is a video from Uzoma. So you can see Uzoma. He built his own pose detection, which is a computer vision project that you will also be building in the data science program. So it detects your pose, no matter how you stand. You create programs that can detect your facial features, can detect your smile, and so on and so forth. Okay, you can see this lady as well, Christiana, also builds the hand detection program that can detect your hands and so on and so forth. So this, when we say computer vision, these are the projects you're going to work on. All right, so you can see this. Christiana built this absolutely phenomenal project. Oops. Sorry, I think let me just escape. I wanted to maximize, but then it just crashed on me. All right, so let's let me go back. Yep. All right, so that's what we mean by computer vision. All right, you're going to build those type of projects. You learn GitHub for version control, ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, and then Microsoft Fabric for data science. Okay. So let me take more questions. Amarachi says, yes, it helps. You are spot on. Absolutely fantastic. All right. Can I repeat the payment process again? I'll do that just after I explain the business analysis, because somebody asked in the chat. So as a business analyst, what do I learn? First of all, always ask yourself the question, what does a business analyst do? A business analyst is a professional in any organization that analyzes the processes, analyzes the stakeholders, and helps to come up with solutions based on the gaps and inefficiencies that exist in that company. Now, every company comprises of what? People, technology, and processes. All right. The business analyst focuses on what? Processes. Now, imagine that you work in an organization where you sell building materials. Now, what happens is customers have to call to buy their materials. Okay, they want to order a material, they call, and from that call, somebody picks up the call, a customer service rep picks up the call and creates an order for that customer. types out the order, emails it to the procurement team or the store or inventory team. They go into the store, they bring out those items, they give it to the delivery team, and the delivery team delivers to the customer. So you have multiple processes that are very manual. So when you have those type of processes, what happens? You have gaps and inefficiencies. So the business analyst will do what? Analyze the process and come up with the what? As is process. That's the current state, the current process, what we currently have. Now, the business analyst would also find out the inefficiencies. Oh, the process is manual. You have customers calling to order, somebody typing out the order, sending it to store going into the, So why can't we come up with an automated solution where we build a platform, the customer goes to that platform, orders their item, and once the customer orders the item, it goes straight into delivery because the platform has inventory and knows when there is no longer inventory for that product. All right. Now, to build this platform, you want it to be a platform that would serve and solve the problem of the company. So as the business analyst, you will sit down with different stakeholders, with the customer service rep, with the store team, with the procurement team, with the delivery team, and you ask them questions to elicit information. So you do what we call elicitation, asking questions, setting up workshops, setting up meetings to get information from these people. All right. From the information you are getting from them, you are gathering what? Requirements, which is called requirement gathering. Okay. Now, from these requirements you have gathered, you build something we call a BRD, a business requirements document. All right, which is simply a document that has all the requirements, both the functional, the non-functional requirements, to help build that platform. Now, as the business analyst, you would be the one to manage the project that would build that platform from start to finish. So you would be the interface between the business, knowing what the business wants, and ensuring that the developers and the technology team that will be building this platform builds the right requirements. Okay, and that's what the business analyst does. So by the time this platform is built, it would solve the problem of that manual process. So if the manual process used to take 2 days, your future process, which is called the to be, will take maybe 1 hour. All right. So as a business analyst, you have taken that process that is cumbersome and long, and you shortened it into 1 hour or less. And that's what the business analyst does. All right. And that's to put it, I would say, simply. Okay. So that's the role of the business analyst: optimizing processes, looking at stakeholders, managing stakeholders, and so on and so forth. Again, we have the best business analysis curriculum. Why? Because you start your journey by learning data analytic skills. I talked about this earlier. All right. The business analyst today in the modern world in 2024 and beyond must have a flavor of data analytics, because you have roles that are emerging today called business data analyst roles. Okay, and these are business analysts that have data analytics skills. So that's your first module: Excel, Power BI, and SQL. You must learn how to do that as a business analyst. Then you move to process mapping. So you're going to use tools like Draw.io, Lucidcharts, Microsoft Visio for your what? Process mapping, your diagramming tools. Now, I talked about the fact that those projects that would lead to automation, that you would be the one to manage, you must also understand how to manage projects. So project initiation planning, you must know the right type of how to come up with the vision, the mission, and all of those things for the project, setting up the right teams, and so on and so forth. You'd learn Agile and Scrum for projects as well. And you'd learn the software development life cycle. Now, because you would manage a lot of software projects where software will be built and different applications will be developed, you need to know how an application or a software is designed, how it's planned, how it's designed, how it is built, how it is tested, how it is deployed, how it is maintained, and so on and so forth. All right. And you learn that from software development lifecycle. Requirement fundamentals, gathering requirements, elicitation, stakeholder analysis, knowing how to communicate and all of that with your stakeholders. You're going to track project deliverables using Jira. You would also collaborate and track projects using Trello. You'd learn how to use Confluence for collaboration on projects. And you'd also learn ChatGPT as a business analyst. And that's what you learn in business analysis. And I hope for the person who asked the question, I hope I've been able to answer that question. George is saying I'm in Nigeria, but my flight is on the 2nd of April before the program starts. If I pay in Nigeria, will it affect me? Not at all, George. It doesn't affect you at all. It does not affect you at all, right? We've had people who are in Nigeria, they've paid, they started their programs in Nigeria, but then they moved to Canada, a different time zone, and all they needed to do was just to shift and move into the new, into the time zone that fits their program at that time. In data analytics, do we learn coding? The answer is no. I just explained that, Wahab. But as a data scientist, you learn coding with Python. Okay. You learn coding. Okay, can you please talk about cybersecurity, Mrs. Onwudiwe? Mrs. Onwudiwe, can you please talk about cybersecurity? Absolutely. I'll talk about cybersecurity shortly. I'm not sure I have any. Okay, I have Peter. Peter's hand is up. Sorry about that, Peter. Please go ahead and ask a question. And then I'll come back to Mrs. Onwudiwe. Peter, go ahead with your question, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Adiza. Though I've asked my question, that I should please help out with or repeat the process of payment again. So that one is one.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the first question. Second question is, though I'll be making my payment by God's grace, say tomorrow or Monday, first thing on Monday, tomorrow on Monday. My second question is, I know after making the payment, I'll be registering, uploading my passport photograph and all that. Let's say after registration, I intend to start 6th of April. Is there a way, and maybe something else comes up later that will not make me be able to start at 6th of April? Do I've made payments? Is there a way I can change it to the 4th of May? That was the question.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So let me start with your last question. Absolutely. So you can defer your program even 2 weeks into the program. So let's assume the class starts on the 6th of April. You've done the first week, you've done the second week, something came up and maybe you were involved in a project that you'd never anticipated in the office, and that would take or eat into your time during the weekend. Yes, you can defer to start in May. All you have to do is send us an email. All right. If you've already been onboarded into the classroom, just send a message to your class coordinator. Every program has a class coordinator, has a facilitator who is your trainer, who would be in the same group, the WhatsApp group. You'll all be in the same group. Okay. Send us a message and we will organize that for you. You can defer your program before the program starts, and you are also given the leeway to defer even 2 weeks into the program. So even after 2 weeks, you want to move from April to May, you can do that and we would make that available. Okay. So the payment process, absolutely. I'll walk you through that very quickly. And then I'll talk about the cybersecurity to Mrs. Onwudiwe. So the payment process, let's go back to the payment process. Right? So for you to make payment, there's a link that you have on the, so let me just go back to that link very quickly. It's the main stack link. Okay, so this is the link for the discount. All right. Let me just go there. We go to the main stack link over here. You would see the link mainstack.me/enroll10analytics. And this takes you into the main stack enrollment center. Click on this link, okay, and it takes you into the enrollment center. Everything you need about payments, uploading your receipts, the program brochures, everything is here. All right, so Peter, all you need to do, go to the program you want to register for. I want to pay for cybersecurity. I click on cybersecurity. It takes me to the cybersecurity page. Now, depending on where you are, you get to see the amount. All right, 313, that's the amount. If it's in Naira, you'd see 450. Click on reserve a seat. Okay, enter your full name, enter your email, your correct email, so that we can also reach out to you. Enter your WhatsApp phone number in here, okay? And then you click on pay with card. If you have Google Pay, you can pay with Google Pay. Pay with card, you can also pay with your debit or credit card, as the case might be, all right? Once you've done this, you are good to go. Now, for those in Nigeria, when you are making your payments, you can select different options. You have the option to pay in USSD. You have the options to pay in by generating an account. All right. You have the option to pay using Paystack, if I'm correct. You can pay with your Verve card. You can pay with MasterCard. You can pay with Visa, and so on and so forth. You have all those options available to you. Okay. So that's the payment process for you, Peter. All right. Now let's go to the cybersecurity. Okay, let's go to cybersecurity very quickly for the person that asked the question. And we still have about 16 minutes for questions. So please keep the questions coming before we wrap up for today. So let's go to cybersecurity. Now, who is a cybersecurity analyst? That's the first question. A cybersecurity analyst is a professional that protects the system, protect the network, protect the data of any organization from external threats. Okay, so you protect the organization literally from any threats that could exist. And of course, for you to do this, you must first of all understand the foundation of networking and the foundation of computing. You have introduction to cybersecurity. That's the first class where you get to understand the nitty-gritty of what cybersecurity is all about. And then you move into networking and the foundations of computing. And then you learn offensive and defensive cybersecurity, information security principles. You learn cryptography. You learn cyber threats and attack vectors. You learn how to protect, you learn endpoint security, network security, web application security, cloud security, incident response and forensics, and cybersecurity policies and compliance. Now, one of the amazing stuff about the cybersecurity program is that you would also get to be a part of, you'd create a platform called TryHackMe. Now, the TryHackMe platform, what does it do for you? It gives you the opportunity to even go a lot deeper into the understanding of different aspects of what cybersecurity is all about. Okay, so you build your own virtual platform where you would use tools like Metasploit. You'd learn to use Metasploit to probe and to exploit vulnerabilities that could exist in an organization. You would do penetration testing. You would also, learn how to address malware. You'd learn malware analysis. You check for how to evaluate threats, the best way to understand how attackers work, and you'd also get hands-on experience on how to identify websites that have been cloned and what to use to test for that and address those type of issues. Of course, you'd also learn how to use tools like OSWAP. You have them all here. You'd learn how to use tools like OSWAP, BRP, Metasploit, Wireshark, VMware to create your virtual environments to test your networking, have practical hands-on on networking, and so on and so forth. Okay, you'd learn OSWAP, how to use OSWAP top 10 to check for top 10 vulnerabilities and the 10 most critical web security risk. Okay, so you learn how to use all these tools to do your job. All right, and you need to learn how to code. You write a little bit of Linux scripts. Okay, you write a little bit of Linux scripts because you'd learn how to use your Linux skills to identify and find flags that could exist, but you create a lab environment for you to do this, all right? And this is what the cybersecurity program entails. It's for 4 months, 3 months learning in class, and then 1 month internship, okay? I hope that answers your question, Mrs. Nwadiwe. Okay. Yes, the program is recorded. EF is asking, and I think I'll start to take my fine. Okay, I've answered Peter already. I think Peter asked his question. I've answered Peter. I'm just going to go through the charts to see if I have more questions in there. So keep the questions coming, and I'll take those questions. If I've done data analytics and I want to do another program, is there a discount? For the IWD scholarship, the answer is no. There is no additional discount because that's already heavily discounted by 50%. Normally, we have an alumni discount of 5%. If you've done a program, you're coming back for another one, you have an alumni discount, okay? However, for the month of March, where we have the IWD scholarship, and for people that will be taking advantage, there is no additional discount for that. I've explained data engineering already at Bimbola, so that would be in the recording for you. Peter is asking, yeah, so once you pay, people ask this question, oh, for me to be a part of the mentorship, to be a part of the internship, do I need to make any, you don't need to pay 1 penny. After you make payment to be in the program, everything that comes with the program, both the technical skills in class and also your employability skills, it's all part of the program, all right? You don't need to pay anything extra to be, to join any session or to be a part of any other session once you have made payment already, okay? Among the program you're offering, which program is much in demand? All of them, the 8 of them. And I started the session by explaining that, all right? We looked at the jobs that are going to grow in demand, and we did our own in-house analysis, and we also leveraged that using the World Economic Forum. Is the certificates recognized worldwide? Absolutely, Faith. Haven't you seen where our participants work? They work with the biggest and the best organizations across the globe, with the NHS, with Scotiabank, Barclays Bank, the Law Depot, and so on and so forth, all right? With Amazon and so on, with Revolut, the post office in the UK, and so on and so forth, all right? Our participants work with the best organizations across the globe, and these organizations come back to us for references. Okay, so we write references, we fill forms for our candidates for them to get those jobs, all right? Can I summarize the Scrum Master? Absolutely. So who is a Scrum Master? We always start from that. In project management, and that's why I advise people who are going into project management, you want to be careful, all right? Project management is a good career path, no doubt about it, but you want to focus on the area that leverages tech, where you can get jobs in the tech ecosystem, and that's the Scrum Master. So why are Scrum Masters open to roles in tech? A lot more than the project manager. One simple reason. Project management comprises of 2 major methodologies, waterfall and agile. Okay, now the waterfall methodology is simply where you know what you want to do, you plan for everything for that project right from the start, and you know how the project will be completed. The waterfall methodology is also referred to as predictive project management. Why? Because you predict everything that needs to be done. And I always like to use the analogy of cooking the jollof rice. You want to cook a jollof rice, or you want to cook jollof rice for your audience. Now, using waterfall, you know that if I want to cook jollof rice, I need water, I need salt, I need pepper, I need tomatoes, I need this, I need that. All right, you get all those things and you prepare your jollof rice following all the techniques that you know that is, best practice to cook the jollof rice. You do that, and when you are done, you serve your audience or your guests. That's waterfall. So when you're on a project and you follow waterfall, you plan everything from start to finish, the resources, the amounts, the people that will be on the project, what you do when you have your meetings and things like that. Everything is planned out until the project is done. However, Agile is what? Adaptive. So while waterfall is predictive, you plan everything, you don't plan everything in Agile. Agile is adaptive. You build and iterate. So you are cooking jollof rice. You know that what are the major ingredients I need to cook my jollof rice? I need rice, and I need water, and I need salt. These are fundamental, right? So those fundamental items or condiments, you buy those items, and then you cook the jollof rice to a particular extent. So the jollof rice is not done yet. You take a little bit of the jollof rice and you give your guests. Can you have a taste? Tell me if the salt is enough. Tell me if you need me to add pepper. Tell me if you need to add tomatoes, what quantity of oil, and so on and so forth. All right. So the guests will give you feedback on what to do. You take the feedback, you go back and iterate. Oh, the salt is not enough. I need to put more salt. Oh, the rice is not soft enough. I need to do this. I need to do that. Now, by the time you are done cooking the jollof rice, who do you think would enjoy the jollof rice more? The person who you just cooked and you gave it to, or the person who you got feedback from and you cooked the jollof rice to meet their specific demand? Definitely those that you got feedback from. And that's the way products in the tech ecosystem works. All right. You work by doing what? Iterating, asking for feedback. Your WhatsApp today, your Facebook, your Instagram, you get multiple updates on a daily basis. WhatsApp never used to have the screen sharing feature. It never used to have updating of uploading of videos and all of those things. Those features were added after the product was already delivered to the market. But based on the use of customers and based on feedback, those features were added, and the product keeps on, evolving based on what is best fit for the customer. And that is the Agile framework in a nutshell. So you are not just building everything at once, you are building and iterating by getting feedback to fit into the best products that the market would need. You identify those very important features that is required, and you start building the products. And you do this in sprints, okay? So sprints sometimes could take 2 weeks. You take the most important features, could take 2 weeks, could take 1 month, and so on. Build those important features, and then you deploy the product to the market, and you get to review, you get feedback, user stories that you've gotten, and you use that to keep on iterating the product. So that's simply why the Scrum Masters would get a job in the tech ecosystem before you, who is a general project manager, because they are experts in Agile. That's the Scrum Master for you. All right. So what do you need to know to be a part of the Scrum Master program? Okay. You will start with introduction to Scrum. You'll learn about the Scrum team, the team that comprises of the Scrum, that has to be in the Scrum team. You have the product owner, you have the Scrum Masters, you have the team members. You learn about the Scrum artifacts and the Scrum ceremonies. The Scrum artifacts like your product backlog, your sprint backlog, your burn down charts, and so on and so forth. All right. You learn the Scrum events, the Scrum ceremonies like your sprint planning, your daily Scrum, your sprint review, and so on and so forth. You learn Nexus Scaled Scrum, where you deploy Scrum in a larger setting across the entire organization. And for the gentleman who asked, do you give us a PSM certification? We prepare you for the PSM examination in Scrum. Okay, so that's what the Scrum Master program entails. All right. The bank account details for transfer, Brian, that's only for those who will be transferring in pounds. All right. You want to do a transfer in pounds. Yes, you can do that using the account details. But of course, I'll show you that quickly. So once you click on the enrollments link, it takes you here and you have everything you need. Okay, you have everything you need. All right, you have everything you need. That's the account details for you to do a transfer. All right. But that's to transfer in pounds. Okay, I think I'll take my last question for the day, which is from David, and then we start to wrap up. So David, please go ahead and ask a question.
Okay, good evening, and thank you for the time so far. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear, shoot.
Okay, my question are in two parts. The first one is I'm exploring a situation maybe during the long vacation of my children. Is it possible that you have specialized program for school children that are not yet 18, which is the acceptable adult age in Nigeria, in terms of whether secondary school or even tertiary institution? And is there any specialized tuition, what's it called, enrollment fee that might be different from this? Because by Nigeria now, you know what 900,000 or even 450 is. But for school children, catching them young, I wouldn't know. I don't think that your presentation addressed that. That's number one. Then number two that I want to ask is, yes, we have seen examples of testimonials that you have shared. But for example, maybe statistically speaking, what's the maximum that you always have in your class? And what is the success rate from the number that have attended your school in terms of success rate of getting good jobs, or using their certificate to work, maybe for international company or for Nigerian companies? Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Let me start with your first question on young adults. Okay, for the young adults, unfortunately we don't have specific programs for them right now. But do we have young adults join our program? Yes, we do. We currently have about 2 people that joined us in March, on the 2nd of March, about a few weeks ago, and their fathers registered them for the program. Okay, so they pay the normal amounts that other people paid. These guys are in the university. One is in Nigeria, one is in the UK. Okay, but they're also a part of the program. They're young, still teenagers. They're not up to 20 yet, but they have started taking the program. So we don't have specific programs dedicated to people in high school and so on for now. Okay, for now, and I'm emphasizing on for now because it's something that we are also working on. All right, now going into the number of people we have in class, the success rates overall, we have a success rate of 88%. All right, now it's also important to note that not everybody registers to get a job, and I'll give you a typical example. Our very first Scrum class that started in January, we started the Scrum and the cybersecurity program this year, 2024, January 2024. So even the very first cybersecurity class, the very first cohorts that started in January, they haven't even completed their program yet. They'll be completing their live classes by the end of this March, and then they start their internship in April. Same with the Scrum Master program, all right? They've completed their internship, just rounding off their internship as well, all right? So you would see that you don't have testimonials for those guys, for the Scrum and for the cybersecurity, because these are new programs that we launched in January 2024. Now, in the Scrum class, you had people who were already coaches. They needed to build up their skills. We had somebody who is a project manager, but also wanted to add Scrum to his experience. All right, you'd have people who want to get promotions by joining the program. HR analysts, for example, they've been in HR all their lives. They want to add analytics to what they do. Okay, so they learned how to use Excel, Power BI, SQL to complement their HR skills. So for people like that, they attain their objectives immediately the program is done. Okay, so looking at that holistically, it's 88% success rate for people meeting the objectives of the reason why they joined, in terms of getting that promotion, in terms of moving to a job role, getting a job, their very first jobs in tech, and so on and so forth. All right. The number for classes varies. It varies depending on the cohorts. All right. But the maximum we accept into a single class is 40. All right. The maximum we accept is 40. So for data analytics, you have 40 people in an afternoon class, you have 40 in the evening class, and you can have multiple classes depending on the number. But in a single class, you have 40 people as the max. Okay. All right. Rukayat is saying, I made my payment tonight via main stack. It says payment to be verified in 3 to 4 days. Yes, no problem about that, Rukayat. So what that means is you receive a confirmation email from us. Okay, your payment has come in, you pay through main stack, but you receive a confirmation email from us in 3 to 4 days. Of course, today is a Saturday as well. So from Monday, by next week, you receive an email confirming your payment, and you receive your welcome kits as well a week before the program starts. All right. So as long as you made payment through Kayat, I'll say congratulations and welcoming you into the program. Job prospects for people in Nigeria. People have asked me this question so many times, and let me say this unequivocally. And for those in Nigeria, you don't know the opportunities you have today. Practically, I'll give you an example. We've had people, HR professionals, reaching out to us to recommend candidates for them to hire. And why? Why is that so? So you have the migration, the African migration, the Japa craze, people moving, traveling across different regions, the UK to Canada, and so on and so forth. Do you know what happens? The people that easily relocate are those that have the skills to get the jobs out there. So you have the data analysts, the business analysts, the data engineers, the IT professionals. They leave these organizations and create a gaping hole, a major gap that these organizations struggle to fill. So there has never been a more, I would say there's never been a better time to get into tech in Nigeria specifically, and across Africa generally, than today. Because you have major gaps in organization. You have departments where 6 people left at once. You have departments where people left consecutively every single week for 3 months, and you have major gaps across. So this gives you opportunity. So what you've seen across different organizations, they've reduced their criteria for hiring. Gone are the days where you'd see some of these banks and so on have very ridiculous cutoff ages. They had to increase because they really couldn't attract people into those roles anymore. And the opportunities, I'll tell you for a fact, are immense for you. So this is the best time for you to get started. Now, if you know anybody, you have a brother, you have a sister, you have a cousin, you have somebody, you know somebody that can benefit from this, who is a lady, send the message to them, let them take advantage of this opportunity. All right. We are based in Canada, we are based in the UK, and we are also based in Nigeria. All right. Like I mentioned earlier, for those of you, I've lived in the UK for quite a while, and I'm currently in Canada as well. So in terms of the job market and what you need to do to take advantage of opportunities that exist in these markets, that's the reason why we exist. To help you understand how to navigate the space, not just myself, but also industry experts across different job functions. For example, on Thursday, when we had our mentorship session this past week, we had somebody, a recruitment, a hiring consultant that works in London for recruit tech professionals. She came in to give a session on what people should do, especially with the changes you have happening in the UK today, clamping down on the health and care visa. And all you need to do is very simple. You need to acquire skills. You need to upskill to take advantage. Okay, so you know somebody that can benefit from this, share the message with them. And I'll end by showing you a post I made. I made this post last week. I'm also talking about this case for those of you in the UK, all right? For those of you in the UK, one of the things you want to do is you have to upskill. So I'm just going to show you that very quickly and I'll end from there. So as people are complaining that the UK is clamping down, other people are getting jobs. All right, our participants are getting jobs. So I'll show you the posts, and you guys can also follow me on LinkedIn, connect, and you get amazing information. All right, so I made this post 2 days ago talking about some of the challenges that exist today in the UK. All right, you have the clampdown on the health and care visa. Dependents cannot really get jobs anymore. You can't bring in your dependents if you are on the care visa and so on. Okay. Whereas our participants who joined our program are getting jobs. For example, this lady, she got a job, a fixed-term contract after all these issues. And this is where she sent us a message. You can see she sent us a screenshot of the success message. Your application under the skilled worker route of the immigration rules has been successful. So she told us how she, spoke to her manager about the visa, the issues. She needed to get another COS. And she applied for it. And after so many back and forth, she was given. But what is most important is she's saying that, thank you so much. I'm grateful to Tenalytics because the program taught me SQL, which I used to get this fixed term contract job. Thank you very, very much. And you have so many. I posted about 3 jobs. All right, this is another gentleman. Good news, I got a data analyst offer of £44,000 as a data analyst. You can see that here. He was sending me this because he had used me as his reference. Okay, and this is what I talked to you about, references and recommendations. I have filled his reference for him, and he's going to get confirmed this coming week because this is a very recent job. And the moment this also comes through, you start to see this gentleman on our YouTube or on our slides as well. And you have this as well, got a job, and so on and so forth. Okay. So follow me on LinkedIn, connect, and let's have an amazing, amazing time together. I want to say a big thank you for those of you that have stayed up till the very end of our session today. Spread the message, follow us across all our channels on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. So you are the first person to know the amazing opportunities we have for you. You can never do this job, any of the programs with a tablet. It's impossible. You need a computer, you need a laptop. Okay, it's compulsory you have a laptop to join any of the programs. You don't need a high-end laptop. You simply need a mid-range laptop, all right? 256 SSD hard drive, 8 GB RAM, Core i5, Windows 11, and you're good to go. All right. If you have a high range laptop, a MacBook, fantastic. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. For those of you in Nigeria, I know it's pretty late at this time. Thank God tomorrow is Sunday, so you don't have to go to work on Sunday. For those of you across different regions, I want to say a big thank you for joining us today until we meet in another session, and I would love to see you in class. We're always here for you to answer the questions you have. Send us a DM, send us a message, send us an email. We will be there to answer the question. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Uche. Oluronsi said, I enjoyed the session. Thanks for joining us today, and I'm glad you did enjoy the session. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and cheers, everybody. Share the message, okay? Send it to somebody that will benefit from this. Bye, everyone.